The following program is a collection of stooges talking about happenings in the sports world. It is meant to be comedic informative. The opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect the beliefs of their peers, their boss, or ESPN. There may be some cuss words because that's how humans in the real world talk. If you are young, please seek permission before watching any further.
Hey,
Why?
let's go!
This show stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for.
McAfee on the line with a gorgeous assist.
The all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers.
You ping!
Damn it! Your friend tell a friend something nice could change their life. Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to our humble abode, the Thunderdome. On this NFL Week 3 kickoff Thursday, September 19th, 2024, this program starts now. Football is literally what we talk about all day, every day. And Week 3 of the NFL season kicks off this evening as the Patriots and Jets will do battle on Amazon Prime. Woo! Before we get to any of that conversation, which we're going to have a lot of today, we need to go ahead and address the breaking news in football, the chaos that is currently happening in football conversations. Earlier this season, Mel Kiper was on a podcast called First Draft and said this about Cover 2.
That should be outlawed.
Two high safeties? You don't like that? Yeah.
When you go to games,
Yeah.
I've been there a ton of Raven games.
Yeah.
And it was
You were
years
voice.
ago when this all started. And I'm sitting there and Lauren was with me. I said, what are these guys doing at? They're like 30
hanging
yards
out in
off
the back.
scrimmage.
Yeah.
I go, where are they? They're out in outer space somewhere. How you gonna throw a ball down the field?
Yeah,
So
you can't.
Again, I would say we say where you have to line up. I would put a rule in place that brings those safeties up closer to the line of scrimmage. I would
we just-
outlaw that because
All
that
right,
is
so-
ruining the game. The things we saw back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, we're not going to see now. The routes that we were working on then, you can't run because you got that going on. That should be outlawed.
Now, obviously, the amount of times that the ball was thrown in the 60s, 70s, 80s versus now and the offense and, there's so many different question marks to go into it. And obviously, as soon as Greeny runs out on Get Up this morning and then brings Mel on to chit-chat about it a little bit more, the entire world erupts. Some people, haven't even got a chance to publicly say how they feel. Let's go to all-pro safety for the Los Angeles Chargers, Derwin James, who was told of the news today while he was in the building.
Bro, they talking about they're gonna ban cover 2 shell house. Man, how we gonna be able to play, bro?
Okay, so how are we going to be able to play is his immediate reaction of learning about it. Then you talk about everybody that's ever played football saying this is one of the dumbest things that has ever happened. Tony Dungy, one of the people that is obviously one of the founders of the Cover 2 with the Tampa 2, and he said it was founded in the Pittsburgh Steelers in 1973. This is just a part of football. You have 11 guys, you're going to play defense. This is how it So we didn't want to judge anything. Journalistic standards?
Sure.
Let's go right to the source to see if new information has been presented. Do you change your view on Cover 2?
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, joining us, we're very thankful for this. Obviously, this is short notice. Turn around quickly. Mad Mel Kiper.
Yeah, Matt Bell.
Mad Mel, have you changed your opinion on this after the overwhelming cry of dumbest take in the history of football? Have you changed your take on any of this, Mad Mel? And thank you for joining us, obviously.
Yeah, you bet, Pat. No problem joining you guys. I don't know, you know me pretty well. You think I've changed my take on this? You got all these dipshits, all these clowns out there on social media saying I don't know anything about football. Listen, I've forgotten more about football than all of these morons know, okay? So no, I have not changed my opinion one bit. I think we need to get rid of the two high safeties, the two shell. I mean, I said it there. I laid it out perfectly, okay? The NFL is boring. Yeah, sure.
Whoa.
Numbers go like this, money's going like that. Listen, if you had to sit on your couch and watch Daniel Jones try to figure out a two high safety look all Sunday, goddamn guy can't complete a pass. All right, sick and tired of, swinging out the ball on the perimeter, on these little flat routes. I'm sick and tired of it, okay? I mentioned it there. We don't have guys like we used to, the Kenny Stablers, the Gus Ferrats, if you will. He was a little bit later, but he really, was very good at pushing the football down the football field. Obviously, a little bit later, 2000s, Tommy Gunn Maddox. Guys like that. He wasn't dealing with the too high safety look. And what was he doing?
He was.
Well, I mean, to a certain degree, like I said there, I get mad and my Baltimore accent comes out a little bit. These guys are out there in outer space back there, okay? 20, 30, 40 yards off the football field, way back there. Quarterbacks can't even see them. So, no, everyone can say whatever they want.
What's his problem, Coach? Coach Pagano's here. I don't know if you know him, Mad Mel. 36 years of football coaching on the defensive side of the ball and as head coach. Coach Pagano, how do you feel about everything that's being said about the cover 2 defense?
Well, I used to have mad respect for Mad Mel
Really?
until this damn take. So, Mel, we can't touch the receivers anymore. You can't get near a quarterback, all right, anymore. And now the only chance we get maybe take a down off in the back end and protect against these unbelievable wide receivers these days. Now you want to ban 2 high shell. We're not even playing that much cover 2 out of that 2 high shell. There's quarters, there's quarter, half. There's strong roll, weak roll. Why don't we do some research, Mel?
Hey, listen, Chuck, first and foremost, I'd like to say I used to have a lot of respect for you as well. Then I watched that defense you put on tape your last year in Chicago, and that went right out the window. All right? So 2 can play that game, pal.
This is a highly respected man.
Hey, listen, I used to respect
Did you look at those numbers and see what the final rankings were? Or are you just going to throw that?
Oh, damn.
Hey, you know what? Hey, I do my research, asshole, okay? There's a reason you're sitting up here with these clouds and you're not, on a sideline on a football field.
Well, what are you doing?
Okay?
What are you doing? Isn't that kind of your gig? It has been sitting with clowns?
Listen, well, yeah, but I grab the tape, okay? I watch more tape than anyone in the NFL community does. I stand by that. I understand that. You guys know that better than most, okay? That's what I do. That's what I'm paid to do. All right? I'm a fucking guru when it comes to this shit.
All right.
I know this shit, okay? Yeah, I mean, the NFL, hey, listen, everyone always talks about, we're yodeling like that goddamn Price is Right game, but do we want to see a plateau? No, we don't. We want this thing to, like I said, go to outer space back there, 20, 40 yards. So, I mean, we need to get rid of the 2 high shell as soon as we can. We need these shitty quarterbacks in the NFL, of which there are several. We need these guys to be able to throw for 300, 400 yards a game, okay?
Well, on that note, AP Tone, who is an AP voter, I'll have you know, Mad Mel. I don't know if you've known that a lot has happened since last time.
Am I? Hey, welcome to the big leagues, Tony. Okay, eat my ass, pal. Ask your question. He's he's exactly the guy who I've been sparring with and on the battlefield with today.
Let me ask my
question. Go ahead,
okay?
Tony. Go ahead.
Is there a chance that you want to ban this because all these quarterbacks are playing like shit when you said that they were going to play awesome, so it makes all of your evaluations look like shit?
Whoa!
AP Tone.
The
Raptors.
Well, journalistic standards he's saying in this thing.
Listen, I don't even want to, lend credence to what that asswipe's saying, okay? Guy gets an AP vote for the first time, and he's walking around like he's, I don't know, Bill Cowher or something, okay? It's absolutely asinine.
You should read his book.
I have read his book, front to back, many times. I can recite the whole goddamn thing for you right now if you'd like me to, but I don't think we have time for that. Exactly. No, listen, did I say Bryce Young was a surefire can't-miss prospect? I did. Is it his fault that maybe the GM's a moron? Well, I don't know about the new GM. I'll give him some time, but is the owner a dipshit? Was his previous head coach, was he out to lunch? Was he wishing he was at the seminary and, not on the sidelines? These are the type of things that I can't, listen, I watch the tape, okay? I watch the college tape. I look at, the guy's skill sets. Listen, he was, the Steph Curry of football. Everybody was saying that, big IQ, laser rocket arm, not a great athlete. He's a fair athlete, but not a great athlete. Listen, Dan Jones, the book's been out on him. I said from the get-go when they drafted him, this is idiotic. Okay? Dumb. Stupid. Look at Bo Nix.
What about Jordan Love? I remember your reaction to Jordan Love, Bub.
Remember?
Yeah, remember?
Well, listen, the sun shines on the dog's ass every once in a while. I was wrong about Jordan Love, all right?
Okay. Connor has a question for you, Ty.
Yeah, Mad Mel, always a pleasure to see you. Have you thought about the fact that maybe the offensive coordinators and, some of these gurus are just better at their jobs than the D coordinators, or do you strictly think that these safeties are just too damn deep when it comes to playing defense?
Safeties are too damn deep. I don't know. I mean, you're dressed like a goddamn offensive and defensive coordinator, so you tell me.
I'm on the sidelines tonight, Mad Mel. Actually, to be honest with you, I couldn't disagree with you more. I'm sorry. I just don't think that maybe, a smarter thing to say would have been maybe the defenses play with 10 guys instead of 11.
Well, that ain't football. Okay? I don't know if you know that, but listen, we play with 11 guys on the football field, both sides of the field. Listen, I don't understand it. You know, you're watching a game. You're looking at it. You see these. You can't even see the safeties. In all 22. You can't even see them. You know, you go to the sideline copy. You can't even see. You can't see the safeties. You got to go to the all 22. You go to the end zone copy, and there they are back in outer space. Are there? I mean, again, I've said that several times, but that's what it looks like. Yeah, it's complete bullshit. Okay, it's ruining our game. Excuse me?
Well, you sounded like Stavi a little bit there.
Getting a little,
like I said, hey, listen, when I get worked up, my Baltimore accent comes out a little bit, okay? Sue me, the fucking O's are blowing it right now, okay? They're winning the division, now they're 5 games back in the Yankees. So, yeah, I'm not happy right now. You're dealing with that when you go to bed, you wake up in the morning, and you got all these keyboard warriors out there acting like they know football more than me. They don't. They never will. They can kiss my ass. So, yeah, I'm a little chapped, okay? I'm right on this. History will show that I'm right on this. Hey, look at the stats. You know, you don't have to like it, but QB play in the NFL is atrocious, Pat.
Maybe it's a combination of things. Ty has a question for you, Mad Mel, and I hope this one goes better than they have.
Mad Mel, have you considered the fact that maybe it has nothing to do with the coverage as a whole, but the fact that the defensive players themselves now are about 100 times better athletes than the defensive players who were playing in the 70s, the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s.
Well, there's a guy right there. You should just stamp on his forehead. Hey, I don't fucking know ball. Okay?
Oh, jeez.
That's what I hear when I hear something like that.
Hey, don't you disrespect Ty like that, Mad Mel. Well, don't you even think about it, Bob. Listen, there's no reason for all that.
God. He's disrespecting me, okay? You look at guys like Willie Buchanan, Dick Krause, a couple of, the list goes on and on. I'm talking about quarterbacks who can lock down anybody, 60s, 70s, 80s.
Mel Blount.
Mel Blount's he's a goddamn Hall of Famer. I mean, his tape, stands the test of time. I'm just saying, you put any of those guys playing out in the 60s and 70s, you put them out there right now, and you tell them, hey, you go ahead, just play a too-high shell. They would do the exact same thing that you're seeing from some of these safeties, Derwin James, some of these high-end safeties that you have. That's just my opinion. Now, listen, everybody says, hey, I might not be right. Newsflash, I am fucking right.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Mad Mel Kiper. All right. Thanks, Mad Mel. We should have known he was never going to back off of that. And, Coach, I appreciate you diving in there and saying, hey, there's a lot more to it than just cover two. We actually pulled some clips, actually. Here's like Harrison Smith, the hitman for the Minnesota Vikings. And whenever you think about, if you just ban safeties from being too far away from the line of scrimmage, Harrison Smith starts this thing all the way down near the line of scrimmage. I believe this is on the Pierre. Let me go ahead and open this. Yep, perfect.
He's going to be down here on the line of scrimmage on the bottom of the screen here.
Yeah, here we go. Boom. So he's starting 2 yards from the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, and so he's talking about too high shell, right? So we've highlighted both safeties in this picture for you. This is B-Flow's defense against the 49ers. So Harrison Smith, 22, and then 24. What's this look like to the quarterback right now?
Single high.
Single high, right? Single high. So, all right, so there's no too high shell. So these quarterbacks now against really good coordinators like B-Flow and what they're doing, it's called disguise Tampa. They're getting to Tampa too, showing a single high. Watch what happens here. So they're going to spin 24 over. He's going to be the deep half player to the right. From the line of scrimmage, okay, Harrison Smith's going to run and be the deep half player, all right, to the short side here. And the quarterback's got to figure this out post-snap. That's what Tom Brady, all right, Mahomes, two of the greatest of our generation, right, in today's football, they've done this at the highest level. You got to figure this out on the run. So that's great football. Here's another one. Look at where the safeties are here at the snap, Pat.
Right where Mel wants them.
Yeah, Mel.
Okay, so... And Mel, 22's on the line of scrimmage, 24's up. So if you're looking at this on the quarterback, right, what are we thinking here? All those guys are at the line of scrimmage. Cover what?
1.
0, right?
0.
You got a picket fence. You got 3-on-3 up top, right? You got number 2 down here has got this wide out down here, man for man. And then they're trying to figure out protection-wise. Okay, do we go to the right? We go to the left? Are they coming from the bottom? Are they coming from the top? Guess what? Now they're going to go disguise Tampa. Now look at what happened here, Pat.
Corners go
Now
deep.
both safeties end up being low defenders. Harrison Smith has got the flat down here at the bottom. Curl window players, the number 24, the safety up at the top. And the corner, who was acting like he had man on the three-man bunch, he's the half safety now. So great disguise, great plan.
Awesome.
Gets Purdy to jack the ball off. All right, hold it.
Sorry.
And then he's got pressure.
Purdy to jack the ball off?
jacked the ball?
He did jack the hell out of that ball.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he
and that
did.
buys time.
Ski
That buys time for your rush. These quarterbacks are trying to figure this thing out on the run, post snap. It's brilliant.
So what are you saying?
So what are we going to throw this out too? So this will be the next thing that Mel's going to look at. Oh yeah, this is bullshit too. So we're going to throw out disguise too. And the fact that he said, "Hey, look, too high safety," like we just talked about with him.
Well,
not that much cover two. I mean, it's quarters, quarter, half, strong roll, quarter, half, cover 8 now. Going to the strong side to the nickel, straight quarters across the board, and every now and then you're going to get a too high.
I think what we're hearing from defensive players more specifically who have already been upset about how the game has changed. You hear Chuck talk to Mad Mel and he goes, all right, so we can't touch them. We're not allowed to do this. We're not allowed to hit the quarterback. We're not allowed to grab at all downfield pass. And now we're also not allowed to use cover 2. Okay, so like basically defenders already think it's impossible to play defense. Then you're going to try to take away a scheme that has been developed and sophisticated to help the defense even more. I think that is why Mad Mel and Mel are getting so much heat, because it's like, hey, they've already tried to handcuff the defense enough. And now you're going to take away a coverage that isn't even really the same coverage that cover 2 was 5 years ago. Certainly not what it was in 1973 with the disguises. It's just like a sophistication level that the defense has evolved into, and you wanting to take it away is just kind of crop is basically what everybody is saying.
Think about if you're a corner and you could never play cover 2. That was their time. That was a down off. Because if you play cover 3 and you're lined up on a wide receiver and he goes vertical, that's man, right? You got him. If you're playing quarters, he goes vertical. That's your dude. You got him. If you play man, if you play zero, you got. How would you like to be a corner and not ever get a chance to roll up and play cover 2, where you actually say, "Hey, thank you, coach. I appreciate you giving us a down every now and then. We go down, squat, play the flat."
Kind of chill,
you'd
relax.
You'd never get a down off.
So the interesting thing about it all, and I know that, Ty, I'm sorry that always happens.
I mean, what are you going to do?
Well, it seems like every single time you guys talk, that ends up happening. He gets all upset. You kind of ruffle his feathers a little bit. Yeah. But I think where Mel Kiper's coming from is I'm tired of being bored watching football.
Sure.
And I think there's a lot of people potentially thinking like that. But people think like that anytime the defense is dominating. Yeah. Anytime the defense is doing good, people get bored. It even happens in like training camp practices. Okay, training camp practices. We've all seen it. Indianapolis Colts training camp. Let's say there's a few thousand people there. It's a big night. The offense hits a 50-yard deep ball. Ones versus ones, offense versus defense. T.Y. Hilton catches a touchdown. Place goes bananas. Our team just got bombed on. Literally just got bombed on. Andrew Luck throws a pick. Boo, not happy. Fans are not happy because Andrew Luck just threw a pick. It's just naturally ingrained to want to see explosive and exciting offense. So there will be some counter check to what is happening right now with the defense. What happened this season? Not sure. Will there be a transition era here where offenses have to relearn how to beat these defenses? Have the defensive minds who get paid millions, millions of dollars, and with those dollars, they should buy themselves a Ram truck.
Hell yeah.
Is it potentially the fact that these defensive minds are good and they finally caught up to the introduction of the new offense, the modern spread offense that has trickled in from college and chit-chatted about yada, yada, yada? Have the defenses figured it out? And do they have the players who have played against it long enough that they have figured it out? So now do the offensive gurus have to counter this? Yes, this is football seemingly. Now, is it boring? Some of these games have been tough to stay awake for.
Sure. For sure.
Some of these games have been tough to stay awake for. But with that being said, you get some defenses flying around, making some massive plays. Whenever you do hit that big shot, it's a little bit more of a buildup, a little bit more of excitement. And we looked at some stats about how in the 70s and 80s and all that shit, it was more exciting because Mad Mel has been around. Mel has been around a long, long time. We looked at the percentage or the amount of complete pass attempts per game by decade. Okay, started in 1930s. 31 pass attempts in the 1930s for both teams. 40s, 44.9. 50s, 53.4. 60s, 55.3. 70s, 52.4. 1980s, 63.4 passes. That feels like that was the big jump there. 63.4 was a massive amount of pass attempts average between the two in 1980s, obviously. Then it goes to 64.8, 65, and then 2010s goes up to 69.6. Now it's at 66.8 in the 2020s or whatever. So it's still the most amount of passing that there's ever been. There always seemingly will be. But the thought of the run game becoming more prominent because the offenses are catching up to what the defenses have been doing, or the defense are catching up to what the offense have been doing. Very fascinating shit, honestly.
And that's what the answer is, Coach, right? If you're playing too high and like Mel was saying, and they're 20 yards off the ball, run the ball, right? Run the ball. That's
but
the
you know
answer?
what the problem is? Most coordinators don't have the patience.
Sure.
Or quarterbacks, right?
Quarterbacks or the coordinators. They get and what are you going to do? Just sit there and let Tyreek go one-on-one and Justin Jefferson, A.J. Brown, these guys with your corners? And we got great athletes and corners that can run, but over and over again, hell no. They're going to say, okay, we're going to make you beat us left-handed. So we're taking this guy away. The only way to take him away is you roll a guy up, put a guy over the top of him. So run the ball and be patient with it.
You talk about corners getting a play off. There is a corner this evening that has been traveling with wide receiver ones over the last couple of weeks here. The man Christian Gonzalez, cornerback from New England, these stats are coming from NFL Pro, which...
Weapon.
Hey.
Best stack getter in the game, possible.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like NFL Plus Premium, NFL Pro, they break down every game. They give you insights. They give you stats to think about. Now, they're kind of building narratives with the stats that they're choosing to give, but who doesn't?
That's AI, bro.
That's
stats.
That's how stats have always worked in this entire thing. But you talk about a corner. Christian Gonzalez followed Wilson in their only career matchup, which was last year, aligning across from 23 of 38 routes, which is 61%. But Gonzalez allowed 3 receptions for 18 yards on 5 targets against Wilson in that game. But in the last 2 weeks, Christian Gonzalez shadowed Jamar Chase in week 1, 20 of his 28 routes. Okay, that's 71% of them. And then DK Metcalf in week 2, 36 of his 44 routes. So Christian Gonzalez is playing cat coverage. I get that cat, and I will be our cat. He has been dominant.
Yep.
He has been absolutely dominant doing
He's
this.
a dude.
It's hard, though, to do that for an entire season, though, to your point, because corners can't tap out. Wide receivers can tap out. Corners are in every single time. That's why the cover 2 has like, hey, take a breather here for like 2 plays potentially in the middle of this thing because we're going to need you down the stretch, is also a massive ordeal.
No, absolutely. And they all got athleticism, but to have that confidence and that dog in them to where, I got that dude. I'll go. There's a lot of them that have the athleticism, just like him, the length. They can run, the instincts. But no, just let me stay on this side. Like the corners they're going to face tonight, Sauce and Reed, they play left and right, or Sauce goes to the boundary. So he's not typically one that does what Gonzo does. That takes a lot of confidence, a lot of this.
Rookie too.
And do you think Coach Mayo, being the guy that's the head coach, is obviously defensive coordinator for them, has been a player for him, has probably seen, I mean, was Revis there whenever?
Yeah, he was 2014. Yep.
There with Revis. He understands the value of having a guy that possibly does that.
Oh, absolutely.
And
And
empowering
that's
somebody.
what Bill, I mean, Bill always had one of those guys, a true number one dude. So if you had that guy, hey, you're going with him. Sometimes we're going to give you some help over the top, or they're going to take him and put him on number 2 and say, you're getting no help the whole night. Okay, and then we're going to take our number 2 corner and put him on their best dude on DK or whatever, and then help over the top of him.
Well, we're not allowed to have help over top anymore.
That's right. That's out.
You got to feel good about having that guy, though. That Gonzo statistically here from NFL Pro, NFL Plus Premium, he's best corner in the game right now.
Yeah, he's absurd, and those stats are
against Aaron. Big night.
Huge night, and it's cool to hear Aaron say that they kind of did their rehab last year. But even going back to last year, like when he played Tyreek Hill, A.J. Brown early on before he got hurt and was out for the season, he was locked out. And Tyreek Hill actually after the game said about Christian Gonzalez, like, yeah, the way that guy moves, because he ran, I think, like a 4.21. So it's not like he's just locked down up close. Like he can run with some of these guys, and you could see it when you were seeing some of the tape come out with Jamar Chase, where Jamar is trying to, corners, posts, and Gonzo's just in his pocket. So I can't wait for that matchup. That's kind of the one to watch tonight is Wilson versus Gonzo. But I just hope he does get that opportunity to cover, every single route he's on the field, because it is must watch.
Doesn't happen often.
No.
This does not happen often in the modern NFL. It is not like a travel with the one every single time. It hasn't happened often, I don't think.
Because you can travel, but then Aaron knows that, right? Hackett knows that. Saleh knows that. So how do we get 17 free?
Well, we got two backs that we have a lot of faith in. So if we got to be patient,
we've got two dudes. We got Hall back there. We got Allen. Yeah, we got two dudes. But all you have to do is stack that guy, put him in a bunch, put him inside, motion him across, and that takes that away. So if they just want to play static and line them up as the wideout number one to the right or left, then you're going to get your matchup. We're going to see what we want to see. But if you're smart, you find a way to get that guy free.
Joining us now, ladies and gentlemen, is a former general manager in the NFL. He's a 3-time Super Bowl champion. He's an author, a TED talker, a podcast host, a live show host, and an email newsletter, the Daily Coach founder. Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Lombardi. Lombo,
thanks.
I don't know if you've heard the discussion about cover 2, if you would like to address that, and then also Gonzalez being one of the only guys seemingly of recent memory that will just go with the number one receiver all over the field.
Well, I think, look, let's go to the cover 2 thing. If you're going to play cover 2, and Chuck knows this as well as anybody, you're in a 7-man front. And so that means you're a gap short. That means somebody has to 2-gap within the 7-man front. And just because you play 2 side safeties doesn't mean you're giving up the run. I mean, Belichick played cover 2 all the time in New York with Lawrence Taylor, but they were 2-gap, and they understood how to 2-gap. I think part of this new collective bargaining agreement is we've taken away the physicality of practices and training camp, and so the art of run fits, where you know where you fit, whose gap do you have, where do you control the gap horizontally and vertically. There's 2 gaps, right? If you run up the field like the Eagles were doing on Monday night, you're going to be behind the quarterback, and the ball is going to come out and run. So if you want to play cover 2, you got to play a 2-man. You got to play a 7-man front. You got a 2-gap. Somebody's got to be in charge of the 2-gap. Somebody's got to disengage from the lineman and do that. I think, to me, the idea to get rid of cover 2, I couldn't even understand why that would come up. I don't even know why you would think that. I don't think that's.
More excitement. It's coming from a good place. I think it's coming from.
It's not excitement. I mean, look, they've had cover 2 for a long time. I mean, the problem isn't cover 2. The problem is we don't practice. We don't practice. Bryce Young didn't play in any preseason game until the 3rd one, and he was viewed as being perfect. Everything was fine. Now he got benched. Maybe if we practiced the passing game, maybe if we had physical practices, we'd have a better passing game. Maybe if we weren't so scared to have injuries in training camp, we might have better passing games. That's the problem. Teams aren't getting ready because the season's too hard. There's no physicality. It has nothing to do with the coverages. Cover 2's Bud Carson invented cover 2 with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now they changed the rules. Your guy, Bill Polian, changed them because he didn't want you to jam receivers, but we won't get into that at this time.
We should.
Bill Polian is a Hall of Fame general manager.
You weren't allowed to touch the receivers. Back in the day, you could. So, I don't think it has anything to do with coverage. It has everything to do with execution. Everything to do with execution. And the execution has not been very good, like it always is in September. You'd have to go back to 2006. This is the lowest scoring 2 weeks of the first season since 2006.
Leader in pass yards.
The way the game is.
Hey, leader in pass yards, this stat came out, has 500 and some. And this is obviously the lowest leader in pass yards that the NFL has seen over the first 2 games in maybe ever. I don't know. Since they're keeping track pretty much. This is the lowest amount of pass yards. So it's a very much a transition into a run league, which leads into field goals being a necessity to take, which goes back to your point on Monday night. You were pissed about that. But I think people need to understand that this is the reality of the current league right now. I think the decision by Sirianni was last year's decision, 2 years ago decision, where it was field goals, we aren't having it. We are scoring touchdowns. If we don't score touchdowns, we're going to be behind. Now it's 7 for 7s are happening for kickers they're winning. 6 for 6s are happening for kickers they're winning. Niners have Moody go 6 for 6. It's kicking is very, very important right now. Is this going to be all season, you think, because of the lack of practice, or do you think they'll be able to keep up? You think they'll be able to figure out?
No, I think we'll get better. I mean, look, the best quarterback in the league, Patrick Mahomes, has his lowest quarterback rating of his career right now. And you think that's going to stay the same? Of course not. He's going to get better. Now, they practice a lot, but it's hard. You don't have 2-a-days. You're missing practice. You're missing continuity with players. We've got a whole lot of things that have to get worked out in September. It has nothing to do with coverage. It has everything to do with timing. Look, the Jets are going to play tonight. This is their 3rd game in 11 days. They probably haven't practiced at all. Let's just go through it. The Jets last year averaged 5.1 yards per play as an offense. This year, they averaged 5.1 yards per play as an offense. They've gained 15 more yards in 2 games than they did last year. Think about that. Now, we know they weren't any good last year. They didn't have Aaron Rodgers, but a lot of that is because they can't practice. You play Monday night. You can't practice Tuesday. You're not practicing Wednesday. Thursday, you're probably going to have a light practice. Now you got to play Tennessee. Now you're playing Monday night. You can't practice. So you can't get in any rhythm, any continuity, any physicality. That affects your football team. That affects execution. Football is a game of execution. The Saints aren't having any problem executing. They're not having any problem with cover two.
Rashid Shaheed actually split it. Rashid Shaheed actually
they're getting over the top. I think, to me, it's an overreact. Look, I love offensive football, but the Saints are under center. I think the bigger issue about our league right now is it's copycat. Lamar Jackson needs to be under center. He's out there in shotgun. Derrick Henry's he would run bootlegs as well as anybody, but they don't put him under center. We've just become a copycat league. Get the quarterback. Derek Carr's been under center more than any quarterback in the league. Two-back runs. You talk about not being able to fit on cover two with runs. How about try to fit a two-back run? Nobody in the league, Chuck, nobody in the league knows how to fit two-back runs anymore. It's horrible because they don't practice against it.
And you would think Patrick Ricard, Derrick Henry, that could be a potential weapon for them. Tonight for the Jets, Braylon Allen and Breece Hall. You think they're going to go heavy two-back? You think that that happens with the Jets, or how do you think they attack tonight?
No, I think they're going to run what they typically always do. They're going to run their scheme. I think, to me, what the Patriots do is more interesting. What will they do with Gonzalez? See, if I were the Patriots, I would put Gonzalez on Lazard, and I would double Garrett Wilson the whole game. I would double him the whole game and take him out of the game and say to Aaron, okay, you do something. Now, look, the Patriots are hard to run the ball on. I mean, last week, Seattle couldn't run the football on them to save their life. They couldn't do it. Cincy couldn't do it. This front's good. This front's really good. And so it's going to be a challenge. Look, one thing about New England, they've controlled the clock, right? They've had 75 rushes in two games. I mean, they want to run the football. They can't play from behind. That's the other problem. A lot of these teams, they play from behind. They can't catch up. It's too hard. I mean, how about, Caleb Williams? Look, have you seen his numbers? Bryce Young got benched. And Caleb Williams had the worst percentage of any quarterback since 2016 against the blitz. A lot of these guys just don't have a run game to help them. Chicago averages less than 3 yards a carry.
Listen, I'm excited to hear those stats, okay? Because we need that with DeForest Buckner being out for the Indianapolis Colts. But let's stick and stay with tonight's game, and then the boys will ask you about happening around the NFL, rookie quarterbacks struggling as a whole, and how much they can learn week to week and how that whole process will go. But whenever you talk about the Patriots and what you said about controlling the clock and yada, yada, Jerome Mayo comes from the Bill Belichick coaching tree. It doesn't feel like he's fallen too far off of it with the way they've been able to stay in games and win games thus far this season. And Connor has a question for you.
Yeah, Lomba, how do you feel about the first 2 weeks of the New England Patriots when it comes to a coaching standpoint? I saw there's some rankings out there. Who knows who it's by? But they had Alex Van Pelt pretty high up as far as play callers go. And then when you just think about the culture that they're trying to start here, what do you think about what he's been able to do? And obviously with, the offensive line troubles being what they are and the left tackle and the left guard being out tonight, how do you see the Patriots going about, the Jacoby Brissett situation as far as, hey, we need you to push the ball down the field, but also at the same time, you're getting hit 2 seconds after you snap the football?
Yeah, I think what Mayo has done a really good job of is saying this is who our team is, right? They do not want to get into a shooting match. They want to control the clock. They've held the ball for 33 minutes in 2 games per game, 33 minutes. They've only played 26 minutes of defense. You want to play good defense, play less defense. And that's what they've been able to do. And the Patriots have been very effective. They've only given up 9.1 yards per catch, and that includes a 56-yard touchdown pass to Metcalf. So they've been very good in stopping the run, and they've been very good at being able to play from in front. I mean, that's been the key to their team. You can't do this if you play from behind. And they've done a great job of establishing the run, getting Stevenson the football early in the game, getting that lead, and making the other team play from behind. And I think that's going to be the essence. To me, the script, if you're Aaron Rodgers, you're sitting in the locker room, look, we've got to score on the first 2 drives. We got to go up 10-0 after the end of the first quarter. We've got to force the Patriots to play a different game. A lot of football is like basketball in the sense of what style do you want to play? How do you want to play it? You hear college basketball coaches all the time talk about it. Well, if this game's in the 60s, we win. If it gets in the 80s, we can't. That's the NFL today. If you can play a style like the Patriots want to play, that's good. If you have to come out of the style, not so good. Like Tennessee last week, they play a style. Now, of course, they turned the ball over, but to me, that's the key to the Patriots. And you got to give the coaching staff credit. Part of the job of a head coach in preseason, this is a big part of the job. This is what I think we miss a lot of too, Pat, is to figure out what is my team? How do I have to play to win the game? What do I need to do to win the game? And I think Mayo's done a really good job of that.
We have an interview with Coach Tom Moore that we recorded earlier today that we'll be running in the second hour after Blake Shelton will join us at 1:10 Eastern time. And then Coach Tom Moore's interview will run after that. Boy, you should hear him talk about exactly what you just said. You know, it's not about what am I? It is what are we? You know, that is basically what the conversation is. And those who can take advantage of that the most seemingly always win. I'm excited to see Aaron Rodgers because it looked like in the second half last week. Starting to feel it.
Yeah, clicking.
Starting to feel it again. And if he starts feeling it again, he is like an in the moment, what's the best situation guy. That's why the play clock is always near 1 or 0 because he is trying to figure it out at all times. Going to be a constant chess match with a great defense led by Gerard Mayo and that New England Patriots. I love the way Coach Mayo is handling everything.
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean,
are you on the sideline tonight?
Yeah, actually, it's funny you say that. I did get the call. I need to get in there. Inside linebacker Juwan Bentley's hurt, so they want me kind of to try and figure out how to get the grit going with the other backup middle linebacker.
So you're a grit supplier tonight at MetLife?
Yeah, I am actually. Sweet. I've been appointed director of SALT. I will be there.
DOS.
You salty dog.
DOS. Yeah, just rev them up a little. That's all. Try to bring the the Indiana feel of both the softness that I get to watch here with the Colts, but also with the heart that beats in this city as well. That's why they need me. I mean, my team needs me.
So what? Why are we dressed like this?
It's game day, baby. I mean, I feel disrespectful to Coach Mayo that my hair is down, to be honest. I feel like I should have put it in a bun. But, yeah, it's game day. I mean, we need this one. It's week 3. This is kind of win or go home.
Oh, this is make or break. Contender, pretender.
It is the first divisional game that we have. Got to win the division to get to the playoffs, baby.
Okay, I love that. Go ahead.
When I worked for the 49ers, we had a player named Hacksaw Reynolds. You guys are too young to remember Hacksaw. He wore number 64. Yeah, he played at the University of Tennessee. At 7 o'clock in the morning in the locker room, Hacksaw was completely dressed in his uniform. Completely dressed. I mean, he was taped. He was ready to go. He was completely dressed.
Hell yeah.
He was a team leader of our team in San Francisco. He helped us win a Super Bowl in '84. But he was like Connor. He was serious. He had to get in the right frame of mind. He had to dress early.
What was his name?
Jack Hacksaw Reynolds.
I only know Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Right.
Oh! That's my Hacksaw.
Great inside linebacker. Now, Hacksaw could two-gap from the inside linebacker position, too. He's one of those big linebackers.
Holy shit. Was he number 64 or no?
Wait a minute.
There he is. There's my man, Hacksaw.
He draws his own symbol on his cleats.
This is a great story.
San Fran.
He lived in the Bahamas, and he was negotiating a contract. So part of the contract he was negotiating with the 49ers is he pretended he wanted weights to train, but he really wanted weights to anchor his boat. It was hilarious.
That's what he did. Hey, that's Hacksaw football. I do like the fact that he had his ankles and his shoes spatted so early that he would just start drawing on like he's Jeff Hardy. Just start getting bored. Let me draw on some logos here to add a little pizzazz to the feet. Hacksaw Jack was a beast, dude. Mm-hmm. He might have been your father. I'm not 100% sure.
That's what I model my persona after, actually. Just start calling me Coach Hacksaw.
And number 64, Connor Campbell, coming to you live.
Hey, I'm not applauding the crew for finding that picture that quick. I mean, give them some love.
Hey, Zito, good work back there, brother.
I mean, that's pretty impressive. Well done, guys.
I will say, there have been times we search for things. Hacksaw Jack could have came back a lot of things.
Oh, yeah.
Shout to Zito's algorithm, pulling that right up for him after searching it. Way to pull that up, Zito in the back. And also shout out to the computer.
Yeah.
Now, there's bad things coming from this computer, I've been told.
What?
I guess. Everybody's saying it's going to turn on us and go down.
Oh, yeah.
And everything
Eventually,
like that.
yeah.
I'm more worried about those 2 moons.
Yeah.
That's what you're not worried about the board? You should be worried about the board that resigned.
That was financials decision. That was not because of anything else here. Anyways, let's move along here. Tone Diggs has a question for you, Lombo.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Lombo, I know we shared the same sentiments on Monday night when the Eagles were just running 8 yards of carry on that first drive, and then they get to a 3rd and 4 and they decide to pass it, which is fine, but after you don't get that, maybe kick it, or if you're going to go for it on 3rd, maybe run it twice. But at the bigger picture there, They're 32nd in yards per rush. The defense hasn't got any better. And you live around that area, is Sirianni safe? How safe is Sirianni, and what's the reaction to
already?
What were they? 11
Listen, they were calling for him last year, so I'm just.
The only guy safe in Philly. The only guy safe in Philly is Joel Embiid. He's good, but everybody else is in trouble there. I think to me, I think Vic Fangio's under a lot of pressure. Bryce Huff, the poor guy's played 2 games. He's under a lot of pressure too. But I think more than anything, I've said this for a long time, and this is an Al Davisism. When your Mike linebacker's slow, your defense is slow. You really need to be able to have speed inside out. And the Eagles have always done a job of trying to find linebackers on the discount market shelf. I mean, they really haven't had enough inside speed. And then you combine it with the fact that they play smaller ends, right? So Bryce Huff's a small man. Nolan Smith is really an old school Sam linebacker. He's undersized. And Atlanta pushed him around up front. I think their conditioning wasn't very good on Monday night. They got tired, and, they weren't coming off blocks. They weren't playing aggressively. I think Atlanta could have run the ball up and down the field on them if they wanted to. So this is going to be an issue now. This has been an issue last year, and this is going to be an issue this year. I mean, think about it. They played 26 minutes of football, guys, 26 minutes of football on an average defensively, the Philadelphia Eagles, and they've given up 800 yards in 2 games. So my whole theory is you play less defense. You play less defense. You're better. But they haven't done that. And so that's an issue. And so if you're asking if people in Philly are happy, no, because I think the reality of it is they can't cover. Look, if they kick the field goal early in the game, they win the game, we won't go down that road. But also, I think to me, when you throw the ball on 3rd down and you throw the ball on 3rd down, I know people say it was the right call. But what people don't understand is you basically said to Atlanta when you called that pass play, here's 5 extra plays for your 2-minute drill. Here's 5 extra plays. Okay? Because it's not about how much time's on the clock. It's how many plays do we have to defend. How many plays do we have to defend? That's the key component. And if I gave you 5 more plays, especially the way my defense was playing, if I were Nick Sirianni and I was watching us play defense, I would have said no. The reason they had a loaded front was because everybody thought they were going to run the ball. He wasn't going to get the first down anyway. So the reality of it is I gave you 5 more plays, Pat. You want 5 more plays? Here you go. Take 5 more plays. Feel free.
I think he gets the first down. If he doesn't, it goes to 4th and 1. I think they push there. If he catches that, obviously massive different conversation. But going into that decision-making process, running the rock does feel like the go-to move there. No timeouts on the other side. You get a first down. You got 2 plays to go 3 yards.
Your clock's your opponent, Pat. The clock is your opponent at that point because now you've reduced the game. Now you can play, as Chuck knows, you can play outside. You can protect the sidelines and force the ball. And 1 sack, the game's over. All we got to do is but that defense, see, this is part of, I am not against analytics. I am not. But I think you have to have applied analytics. You have to watch the game to then apply what you should do. And if you're Nick Sirianni and you've watched your defense play very little but give up a ton of yards, do you really want to get into a game where they get 5 extra plays? I don't think you do.
You think Quinyon Mitchell would appreciate not having to play those 5 plays?
Yeah, I mean, that whole deal.
That poor guy.
That was a tough run there for Kirk. Kirk Cousins was seemingly playing against nobody.
Yeah.
Practice.
That's a rookie corner.
It was a scripted 2-minute drill that you would do in training camp. Yeah. Maybe the last couple periods of practice. All right, we're going to do 2-minute. We'll spot the ball. Here we go. This is going to be the looks. Let's make sure we execute here. Let's run a little bit. It's going to be cardio. It's going to be a little conditioning. Guys are going to be open. Let's not get on the ground. This is literally what it looked like on Monday Night Football. 2 minutes left. Minute 5, they get down there and score a touchdown. And had Peyton Manning go, let's not score too fast here, Kirk. Let's not score too fast here, Kirk, whenever we're talking about scoring being at a complete premium. So obviously, there's a lot of botches all over the place. Coach Sirianni came out and said, Kellen Moore's the one, calling the plays. And Kellen Moore has had this situation in the past where he's called too much passing in running situations. Mike McCarthy came out and said, he's going to warm up, scoreboard. I'm going to have a talk to him. So now Coach Sirianni and Kellen Moore are going to have a conversation. It's fascinating what's going on over there in Philadelphia, legitimately. Yeah. But not as fascinating as what's going on down in Miami. Coach Pagano has a question for you, Lombo.
Hey, so Lombo, stick that GM hat on for a second. Tua goes to IR. We know 4 weeks minimum there. So after 4 weeks or even at the end of the season, if he decides to call it quits, so how does the GM, Chris Greer, front office, deal with this deal with this situation relative to the contract. We know there's guarantees in there, but if he decides to call it quits, insurance, I know they probably bought insurance there. Lombo, can you kind of explain to us what avenue they're going to take here if that happens?
I think this is the worst nightmare because they're in that maybe situation. What is he going to happen? And then they're always worried about what can happen next, right? Because say he does come back and all indications are he does want to, whether he gets cleared or not, that's a whole other story. But if he does come back, you're going to be holding your breath every time he gets hit. And so to me, if I'm Chris Greer, I'm drafting another quarterback. I'm not trying to replace him, but I'm going to draft him because there's going to always be salary cap implications because this is going to go to a grievance, whether if he has to retire, it's going to be, well, the doctor told me I have to retire. The team's going to say, no, we cleared you. It's going to get ugly. That's typically what happens in all these situations, especially with this amount of money that's at stake. And certainly we want him to be healthy more than anything. But to me, if I'm Chris Greer, I'm going to try to draft another quarterback. I've always felt that with Miami because of the uncertainty with the concussions. I think you have to prepare yourself. You got to go out and get one. I think to me, you might want to think about calling Ryan Tannehill, depending on what Skylar Thompson does up there. I think you have to prepare as if he's not going to come back. I think you can't assume it's the worst strategy you can make, whether it's in business or whether it's in football, to assume something positive is going to happen. You always have to ask yourself, what would have to be true for this to be effective?
Man.
And so when you say it that way, you say, well, Tua has to stay healthy for the rest of his career. That's a hard thing to say. So you better go draft yourself another quarterback because as much as you love Tua, as much as you want him to be great, you want him to be healthy, the Miami Dolphins have to play football on Sunday and they're expected to win. So I think to me, that's the only real answer. And I would try to find a quarterback that I felt could come in here because I've got a team that if just with the right guy that could make it go. I mean, this is a good team offensively. It's not as hard to throw the football to Tyreek Hill or to Jalen Waddle. I mean, you can do that. So I think to me, that's what I would do, Chuck.
I've fallen victim to the assumption of optimism outcome plenty of times.
Sure.
Boy.
Yeah.
What could go wrong?
It's a fun
Nothing.
outcome.
Let's keep it moving.
It's a fun outcome.
I don't want to think about the negative because if we think about the negative, then the universe will hear it, and then we're going to get that. Let's just think about the positive. Let's just think about the positive. Let's go do it. And then, ooh, bang, right into the negative one. It's like, we didn't want to think about it, but here we are. Now we got to be a little bit more prepared. And at this point of the season, if you lose Tua, the piece that kind of puts it all together, and to your point there about him not getting cleared, I didn't even think about that. I just assumed he would get cleared. And then there would be a discussion about whether or not he should play. I didn't even think about him not getting cleared, which I guess is certainly possible, especially with how many doctors he's probably going to go see,
right.
How many different people have to clear him, how many people don't have to clear him. There's been wrestlers, I think, that have had like neck injuries before, and it's been like, you can't wrestle again, you can't wrestle again. Then they find like a new system, and there's a new doctor that's like, hey, we'll be able to do this, we'll get you back in there. And they come back like 10, 11 years later. With the brain, I don't know if there is, I don't know how, is it just like, cut and dry? Like, hey, this scan says you can't play? Or is it like doctors saying, I think you shouldn't? Because there's going to be a lot of, like, right? That's going to be...
doctors live in the gray.
I don't even know. Well, they can't automatically assume positive outcome either. They're thinking about, is he going to get another? This is all good if he doesn't get another concussion. So then you got doctors going to what Lombo just said, thinking about, well, if he was to get another one here in another weeks. Is that how doctors operate with concussions? I don't think I know the behind the scenes of that entire thing.
Well, they do all those scans, and you have a baseline. He has had a baseline scan, so what they're trying to do is see if he returns to the baseline scan that he had originally, so that he's got normal brain function in terms of the scan. Again, I'm not a doctor here, so I don't really know how this all works, but to me, then now you're into this crystal ball. Could it happen again? And nobody knows. Who could predict it? I mean, look, he had a chance to slide. He didn't. He went head first. He was being a competitor. It's just instinctive, right? We all say we should have slid, but you've been playing football since you've been in the eighth grade. I mean, just an instincts take over. I want to get this first down. I want to make a play, and unfortunately, it happened. So, I think to me that's part of one thing about being a general manager in the league. Your job is to worry. Your job is to worry. That's your main job, is to worry. You worry about what could go wrong. What could be the worst thing that could happen? And I think to me, that's what you have to do. I know it's a negative world to live in, but that's the only world you can live in. If you start thinking positive about your team, you're done.
Yeah, it's reality. And this is my friends that I call pessimists. They say they're realists, and it's like pretty pessimistic way. Actually, it's an optimistic way to describe being a pessimist. So I actually kind of respect it. But it is reality of a lot of NFL teams this year. Now, let's talk about NFL teams this weekend starting tonight. Ty has a question for you, Lombo.
Yeah, Lombo, obviously last week I think he got blitzkrieged a little bit by the Arizona Cardinals. I don't know if anyone saw that coming necessarily, and obviously the Rams are beat up. But we got a pretty solid slate of games this weekend. Who do you like in terms of your picks?
Well, I'll go back to Arizona again. I mean, look, Kyler Murray averaged 5.5 yards his attempts against Buffalo, and then Los Angeles decided to join the Michael Phelps swim team and run up the field and let him run around and make plays like crazy. I mean, if you're going to let Kyler Murray run around and go beep, beep and make roadrunner plays from right to left and throw all over, you deserve what you get. You better rush him the right way like Buffalo did. I think Detroit's undervalued. Detroit really messed up last week. I mean, first of all, to let Jared Goff throw the ball 55 times when it's never out of the game is your own fault. Like, you want to run the ball. You're a physical football team. You're a dominating team. You want to control it. Tampa was wounded, and they got lured into thinking because Tampa was hurt in the secondary, we should throw it all over the lot. Well, not a good idea. I think Detroit's a very good covering team. I know there's a lot of sharp people in the sports betting world that want to play Arizona in the 3. I think if you get Detroit under 3.5 is a good play because I think Detroit will play much better. I think they'll do a better job of rushing Kyler Murray. Look, I think Arizona's played well, but when you keep him in the pocket and make him play quarterback, make him play from behind the center, I think that's one that you have to look at. I think Baltimore's another team. These 0-2 teams that go in, there's about a 65% conversion rate against the spread. Baltimore, Dallas is hurt. CeeDee Lamb didn't practice yesterday. They've got a host of injuries all throughout their team. Baltimore, you can't run the football on at all. That's impossible. Baltimore's done a really good job. Now, the problem with Baltimore is they've given up 34 points in the second half, 20 in the fourth quarter. You can't do that. Zach Orr's got to make adjustments at halftime. He's got to make adjustments in the second half. But I think with Dallas not being able to run the football, I think Lamar should be able to run the ball. Dallas's interior defense last week was bad. I like Baltimore, too.
Okay, Lombo is picking against two home dogs, the Dallas Cowboys and the Arizona Cardinals in Detroit and Baltimore. I love it. I appreciate the hell out of you, Lombo. You make us better, brother.
Thanks, guys.
Hey, any new rules you should create? We're banning cover 2. I saw some people. Florio saying make the goalposts skinnier because kickers are too good now and maybe raise them higher. It's like, come on, Florio. Don't even put that out there.
Asshat.
I think the thing you should do is what New Orleans is doing. New Orleans is kicking the ball inbounds on kickoffs because they want to improve the toughness of their team, and they're not willing to give up the 30-yard. They're not willing to give up the ball at the 30-yard line. I mean, I think that's really important because to me, when you're a good kickoff coverage team, your team's tougher, right? Your team is tougher, and it makes you a better team. Plus, the way these guys are kicking 50-yarders, they're like extra points. You give up those free yards, it's a hard. Chuck knows this. You call a game when you're on that fringe red zone area, you got to be perfect with every one of your play calls. It's so funny, Pat. We can't wait to give an offensive coach credit for a play call. We can't. Oh, my God, what a great call that was. They ran fullback in the flat. What a great call that was. Oh, my God, how creative. Poor defensive coaches, those guys never get a call. They run a blitz at the right time or they run the right front to beat the thing. They never get a good call.
Yeah, right now they're actually trying to take away cover 2 from them because they're doing too good right now.
I know. Now they want to outlaw cover 2. Can you imagine that? I mean, look, Lawrence Taylor's that's all they played. Flip 2 in New York. I said this to Belichick one time when I first met Belichick. This is a true story. And then I'll go. I said to Belichick, when I first met him, I said, Jesus Christ, Bill, you don't even have a play sheet in front of you. I mean, how the hell do you know what you're going to call? And he says, I have Lawrence Taylor. I call flip cover 2. What do I need a play sheet for?
That's smart.
He's right.
Love that. Hey, we got the dude. That's all you need to know. Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Lombardi. Thank you, buddy.
Thank you, guys.
We don't send him a play sheet either.
No, we don't.
We just kind of twist him up.
Yep.
Kind of just let him go.
You can throw literally anything at him, and he's got an answer for it.
He's got an answer for everything. Literally anything. We didn't even ask about the board resign, mass exodus yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm sure he would have had some.
For sure.
I'm sure he would have. Shout out to Ram, by the way. This hour is presented by Ram Trucks, empowered by the new 2025 Ram 1500.
Oh, yeah.
All the power you need, the luxury you want, and the capability you deserve.
Love it.
Shout out to Ram Trucks.
They got it all.
The Ram 1500 2025.
Oh,
I think the
gorgeous vehicle.
I think the ponies under the hood too also get you where you need to go.
Oh yeah,
when you need to get there.
That's right.
Is that sooner? Yep, they're coming and they're humming. Yeah, that is Ram trucks.
Tell me.
Ram 1500, obviously available now. Chuck, obviously defense under attack, but tonight, is there a chance that Aaron Rodgers and this Jets team makes it go wide open? Is there a chance that this week 3 is when all the offenses kind of hit their rhythm and get started? And is tonight one of those nights? Is that how you see it going?
I don't know. I mean, New England's got a really good defense. They're beat up to hell on the offensive line. They say they can run the ball. We're going to find out if they can run it with these two guys with that offensive line. But, New England only gives up 58 yards rushing a game. They're number 2 in the league.
Hell yeah.
So with Brees and Braylon Allen, I mean, they're going to have to hand it off to keep them honest. But I think what happens is, Aaron likes to spread everything out, get you an empty, identify the defense. If they decide to pressure, there are some FUBARs last week. There were some coverage breakdowns by New England against the Seahawks. They gave up some stuff that you normally don't see. So there's going to be some opportunities for them in the pass game. Run game, it'll be hard to run on that defense, though.
All right. I can't wait to see how it works out. We'll talk about it in the next hour and obviously the one after that. We got Blake Shelton, country music legend, joining us in the next hour. And then Tom Moore, who has been coaching in the NFL for 50 years, 63 years in total of football coaching. Oldest NFL coach ever. Joins us from a conversation we had earlier in the second hour. It should be a lot of fun. There's some other news happening around the football world. Arch Manning has officially been named a starter this weekend for the University of Texas. I think this was expected. I believe this is not really that big of a surprise, but boy, you put it out there and say Sark confirms that Arch Manning is the starter this weekend against Louisiana Monroe. This is after a 5-touchdown debut for the Texas Longhorns. Obviously, preseason, spring game, Arch Manning's been lighting it up. He was redshirted last year, did not play that as expected, as expected, did not play. Unexpected that somebody of Arch Manning's caliber has chosen to be okay with sitting behind Quinn Ewers, who was the Heisman favorite, number 1 overall pick, allegedly, in the NFL draft. Arch Manning's cool with sitting there. Now he's getting his opportunity. He's about to go berserk. I think that's what we all know. He's seemingly become remained a normal human, and he's the fastest Manning to ever touch a football field. Even faster than Archie, who was known for moving and grooving. College football world is going to be loud about this entire thing, and I'm excited to see how Sark and the Texas Longhorns handle it all.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to look incredible against UL Monroe. I think they're like a 45-point favorite. But this is not surprising at all. You have UL Monroe, and then I think Mississippi State next week, who just lost to Toledo. I think it was 41-17, and then a bye before the Red River rivalry, and Georgia. So, yeah, there's nothing wrong with getting Arch some play while Quinn sits and gets healthy before the meat of the SEC schedule comes.
All right, let's talk about some other news that happened this week. The new Bengals practice facility, $1 billion, is being kind of renovated to Acrisure Stadium.
Paycor. Acrisure is
Paycor.
Formerly known as
Heinz. Heinz is in Pittsburgh. Paycor's in Cincinnati. They're going to do upgrades, and that's going to add a practice facility, so there's no more walking across the streets.
Wow. They did it.
That looks really nice.
Very, very nice, and I'm happy they're doing it. Congrats to the Cincinnati Bengals players and fans. You're about to have state-of-the-art for your football team as they try to win the biggest of them all, a Super Bowl for your Don.
That's right.
Congrats to the Bengals pulling the trigger on this, and the town and community donating through their taxes.
And the drivers.
And what's that?
Now the drivers don't have to worry about hitting Bengals players.
Bingo. You can just drive around town all willy-nilly, not worry about killing Jamar Chase. That's good news. Congrats to them. Hour 2 on the other side with Blake Shelton and AJ Hawk. We'll see you then. Now is a man who will be compared to forever whenever they're talking about GOAT conversations in the sport of football. That's because he won 7 Super Bowls, was consistently dominant for more than 2 decades at football. Ridiculously handsome. So absurdly handsome. An underdog story, too, picked at 199 of the NFL draft. Not a top 5 pick, not handed anything. And then what did he do? He went to work, did his job, became the greatest of all time, and now a phenomenal businessman and a great representation of the greatest league on earth. Ladies and gentlemen, Tom Brady. Hell yeah,
What's
dude.
up, my man?
Tom, I thought this was all potential gimmick rip. I didn't know if you were actually on the show. I'm so pumped you were here. Hey, we love you, dude. We love you, Tom.
I appreciate it.
When you're 40 years old and you've won 6 Super Bowls and you're already being called the GOAT, was there anything to you getting to the point of just being, I'm tired of Bill Belichick talking to me like I'm a 23-year-old? Because that was kind of the lingering at the end of your time at New England.
There was so much people just trying to create some division that most of it was untrue, but it's just the way the world works. And naturally, I think division from within is a big problem in these team environments, and I don't like seeing any dysfunction in team environments. Obviously, my respect for Coach Belichick is pretty well documented. He was an incredible leader and coach for our team, and I tried to do my best every single day that I took the field. I knew that he did the same thing, and I think that's why I respected his coaching so much.
But whenever they talk about the Patriot way, that is normally the reason that is given, is like the Patriot way, the Patriot way, the Patriot way.
I've never used that term in my entire life. I think when people say it, I'm always like, what's the Patriot way? It sounds like the title of a book. I think what we tried to do was we tried to do things the right way. I think we tried to practice the right way and prepare the right way. What happened on game day was ultimately a reflection of what we practiced, and I thought we had great leadership from our coaches, and it filtered down to the guys who really drove the culture. We had so many guys that I played with over the course of a lot of years that really understood that, okay, I'm going to care about my teammates, and I'm going to care about helping the team win.
There's a guy on our show who is a diehard Patriot fan. Boston Connor has a question for you.
Yeah, Tommy, I have to.
What's up, Boston?
I have to start and just say thank you. You know, my whole life has been incredible because of the fact that you have won 6 Super Bowls, and you know I'm a loser every day, but I'm a winner as a football fan because of you and what the Patriots were able to do. So thank you. What do you think the new era of New England with Mayo is going to be?
Him coming back into coaching, I think is great for the NFL and certainly great for the Patriots. He's got a great understanding of how things need to be done. I think Gerard does an incredible job relating to everybody in the locker room, all the coaches, and I think he'll do a great job.
Going into the booth, are you utilizing the same thing, hearing what people are saying about you going in there? And how do you balance that while still being a human?
The broadcast going to be 5 years from now is going to be hopefully more improved than the one that starts on day one. So I'm going to go in there with the opportunity to start and learn, and I'm sure by the end of the year I'll feel more comfortable. I really want to be a great ambassador for the NFL and the game. I love the sport. I love the athletes. I love the organizations, and I really...
The following program is a collection of stooges talking about happenings in the sports world. It is meant to be comedic informative. The opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect the beliefs of their peers, their boss, or ESPN. There may be some cuss words because that's how humans in the real world talk. If you are young, please seek permission before watching any further.
Hey.
Why?
Let's go.
This show stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for it.
McAfee on the line with a gorgeous assist.
The all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers, you pig! Damn it! Be a friend, tell a friend something nice could change their life. Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to our humble abode, the Thunderdome, on this NFL Week 3 kickoff Thursday, September 19th, 2024. Hour 2 of the program starts now. Football is awesome. Football kicks off its professional league Week 3 this evening as the Patriots and the Jets will do battle on Amazon Prime, and we obviously can't wait for that. Continued chatter will revolve around that game and many others coming up in the football world. With 36-year football coach, 18 in college, 18 in the NFL, he was actually celebrated as the most Italian at an Italian fest.
Oh, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Chuck McGowan.
Oh, the gabagool.
It was so good up
so
there.
good.
I bet we were
my
slicing it so thin.
Oh.
We had so much gabagool.
Oh, man.
How about the cheese, the mozzarella?
You got the mozzarella.
Oh, do you guys have any pizza? And then how's Grella say?
The Ronies.
Pizza.
You got the pepperoni.
Oh, okay.
The pepperoni pizza.
We're rolling.
The rigatons.
Oh, yeah, we're talking about the Italian fest in the Italian place with the most Italian. That's awesome. Shout out to you, Chuck. I learned I was Italian through a company that no longer has a board. Sure. One half of the Hammer, Dahn. Cowboys, AP. Tone is here looking very professional cowboy.
Thank you.
Very professional
That's
cowboy.
the scariest news that's ever happened in the world.
Okay, and joining us now live from an attic in Ohio is a college football national champion. There's more, a Super Bowl champion, AJ Hawk.
Baby
Hogger. AJ, I wanted to introduce you before the Talks Table because I would like to get your thoughts on a situation that's about to brew. The Talks Table is here at Ty Schmidt and at Boston Connor. And Connor, I see you've been active on X in the last few months. Why are you smiling and celebrating and taking victory laps?
You know exactly why. Because like I've been saying, like I've been pounding the drum about these pandas. And what did we hear this morning about the panda bears? Do we have it? Oh, Chinese zoo admits its pandas are just painted dogs. just like I motherfucking said it was. These pandas aren't real. And look, I know I'm just the crazy tinfoil conspiracy guy. Oh, birds aren't real. Oh, pandas aren't real. Well, guess what? Looks like I'm 2 for 2, bitch.
No, you're not. No, you're not. That is one zoo that was doing the ruse, if you will.
Oh, you mean the zoo, which is where? In China? Is that right? Where do pandas come from, Pat?
They are Chinese.
Yeah, that's
Can't
right.
trust the Chinese.
So look at that. Yeah, going back to the board's point, these biopharmaceutical companies. But I'm just saying, it looks as though.
Okay, this is Halloween.
Are you sure?
This is Halloween.
How do you know now? How do you
What
know
zoo
now?
is that? What zoo?
This is not. This is Halloween.
That's a San Diego zoo.
No, that's from the trailer for Den of Thieves 2. It's
Thank
gonna
you.
be sweet.
Bingo. This is Panda music video.
Yeah.
Just because one zoo admitted to this does not mean every zoo's pandas.
One zoo,
dogs.
One zoo. You mean from the country where pandas come from? I mean, I think we now need to go.
Come on.
Look, you see that panda back there? That could just be now just some Chinese plebe that had to dress up like a panda.
It's gotta be a movie,
sent
right?
over to serve Grand
Pandas are
Chancellor.
real. They're back in American zoos. There's 2 of them. Remember, they got dropped
Where'd they
back there?
come from?
This is called panda diplomacy.
Where'd they come from? Where'd the 2 pandas come from?
China sent these 2 pandas back. All pandas were evacuated from the United States of America because the panda diplomacy thing did come to an end within the last year. But pandas are back.
So now we're just going to believe that
Actually,
China's
you know what? Those 2 pandas that came over to America were from that dog. That's why they had to do the dog thing.
We're just going to believe that. We're
Yeah.
going to believe that the 2 pandas that the Chinese sent are just pandas. They're just real pandas. They're not just fake.
That
pandas.
is not the American pandas that you can see at a zoo here for panda diplomacy. Those are from a Chinese zoo there that lost their pandas because of the panda diplomacy.
Right.
Connor was saying earlier the panda diplomacy thing, they had to go back to China just because they just had to get maintenance on them before they
All right.
sent them back.
Yeah,
So-
Okay, let's talk about some stuff happening around the sports world, obviously.
Had to paint them up.
Yeah,
Before you send
new
them
paint
back.
job.
Change the chips out.
Got to put some new people in the panda suits. So
New,
it sounds
new
like.
microprocesses.
Think about how often they had to paint those dogs.
Oh, my God.
Because
the
the
time.
roots can't show. You know,
No.
when people like dye their hair and then you see the roots and it's like, hey, it's obviously
No,
been a
how
little bit.
long were these animals out on display before the people that were actually at the
Years.
zoo saying, "Hey, this is
Years.
I don't
No.
think these are the pandas I'm thinking of."
They were describing them as panda dogs, a different breed of pandas.
Yeah.
I do believe I read the article because as soon as I seen this, I knew there was going to be one person with a mullet that was going to feel vindicated.
Well.
And if you read the information, it's one zoo in China.
Wuhan.
Okay.
Is it the
Code?
Okay, wait on.
Get in here.
That's a great. Could be
Jump on in,
No,
Chuck.
that is-
Hold the phone.
It was not. Let's talk a little bit about the football, and we hope that panda diplomacy is real. We hope everybody gets along with everybody.
Hell yeah.
That's right.
In the future, hope we're able to do everything good, always good.
ball.
Tonight, all right. Yep.
Yep.
See?
Hit it.
Pandas are real.
Yep.
Come on.
Oh, just like I said.
Do one
the
for
birds
bad
now.
soup.
Do the birds. Come on.
Pandas. Yeah.
Oh,
right.
man, back rim.
We need the Indy Zoo to
Back
trot one
rim.
out. Trot one out
Birds
here.
are real.
Come on.
No, they are.
What's going on?
What's that? Now let me shoot one for their fake.
International ball. International ball.
Yeah, because this is international diplomacy. That's what I thought.
Oh.
All right, so we don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
that's
Still up
It
in the air.
will never know.
maybe that is kind of the story of this. Is sometimes what you think is real is the fakest of them all, and then sometimes what you perceive to be fake is actually the real thing. Keep your fucking head on a swivel out here.
That's right.
Okay, we got dogs being painted. We got AI getting real talented.
Boy.
And we got news that's in real life that's seemingly out of a movie. We just got to dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge our way through it. And let's remember, we're lucky to be alive.
Because guess what? The world is not a Colts O-lineman. It will decapitate you.
Okay. All right. All right. Thank you. We were moved on there. We did the clap thing. There was no reason to go back and
My
talk
fault.
about the safety of football that Quentin Nelson was exhibiting.
Sure. Yeah.
So tomorrow's football is better than today's football. But nonetheless, let's talk about tonight. Aaron Rodgers feels like in his second half last week started vibing, started feeling it, started getting comfortable. Obviously gets his second win as a Jet, technically. First win, full game back since, I think it was like 2023 or something. January 1st, like 2023. It was against the Vikings, I think, and Kirk Cousins. That was his last win before this past week. And now it's a short week. Didn't get to celebrate that much. What are you expecting here this evening in this game? And how do you think Aaron Rodgers does against a daunted, tough Patriots defense?
Yeah, I mean, this Patriots defense is legit. I heard Chuck talking earlier. Like it's going to be tough to run on the Patriots D, I think. So they'll try. They'll hopefully stick with the run, I think, because I know they're going to need some success. But, man, I still think Aaron, if he can get in his rhythm, as we've seen in the first couple games at different times, when he kind of gets into that rhythm, you see him slinging it, and that ball comes out of his hands so quickly. Like, I think we're going to see that for a good chunk of the game tonight.
Good way to get Breece Hall on the field is obviously have him do more of that. And whenever Braylon Allen's getting the reps in the backfield, number 0, the 20-year-old out of Wisconsin who is a beast. And Breece Hall, obviously phenomenal at football. Garrett Wilson has been making miraculous catches in the NFL and in college since we've known of his existence. Now he has Aaron Rodgers throwing him the rock. What will Christian Gonzalez do? You know, who will he guard? How will the Patriots have a plan? Have you seen Coach Mayo before a game as a head coach for the New England Patriots? Here's him doing one of the oldest football pranks in football, moments before an actual game where he is the head coach.
Oh, hey. Oh, hey. Got him. Oh, heads up. Got him. Got them all.
I got them all. It wasn't just 3. It wasn't just 2. I got them all there. He is obviously incredibly confident if you're that loose before a game, but obviously also has the team's, the team and he are very, very tight. I think there were some equipment managers that got there. There's some players that got there, some other coaches that got there. How do you feel about Coach Mayo? Former player, obviously you're going to talk about that a lot. Head coach, and how he's kind of handling it all, Coach, including before the game.
I love it. It's totally opposite what anybody would ever thought would come off that sideline before. Can you imagine that? That never took place.
The Bill Belichick.
didn't do that?
Bill Belichick could have done the Dallas Clark used to do this a lot. Somebody would have a football, and he'd be like 10, 15 yards away, and he would go, yo, 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 and the person would throw it, and then as soon as that ball leaves the hand, he's leaving. And that ball is hitting somebody. And then there's a full situation between ball hitting somebody, turning, go, what are you doing? Dallas gone already. And then that person having to say Dallas just did the classic. That's a classic. Gold. Classic football move. Loosening up the water bottle.
Sure.
Okay?
Always.
Top of the water bottle. Classic. Classic football.
I checked tops of water bottles in games because I was always aware of always like someone's gonna do it. If you guys are up 2 or 3 scores, third or fourth quarter, every once in a while someone would unscrew all 6 of them that they're carrying. I'm like, all right, this is not right.
So if you were worried during the game that's going to happen, I love the culture that you guys had in Green Bay. There was obviously big football prank. Is always worried about anytime somebody named D figured something out.
Sure.
That's big time football prank. Anytime D did something, you had to be very. Is D real human, and do not ask. You need to figure that one out inside your head. There's a lot of football pranks. The heads up, the ball, old school. I mean, that is old school football prank. The fact he's doing it that close to time feels like the boys want to be loose. You're going to be on that sideline tonight? Did you hear that? This man said he's going to be on that sideline. That's why he's dressed the way he is dressed right now?
Yeah, I got a flight right after the show to MetLife. I'm going to actually chopper in from LaGuardia just to make sure I'm there for the pregame for the hey.
How do you feel about the vibes, though, of this Patriots team?
Oh, it's incredible. Like, I love Coach Belichick, like, genuinely, and obviously my entire football life really has been with Bill Belichick, but like to say this is like refreshing would be an understatement, because as awesome as the stoic, talking to the media, not really giving them anything, things of that nature was, because that also had an appeal and was hilarious. Like, this is just such a different side of the coin. Like, even in his interviews, both after games, when he's doing his radio hits, and immediately after doing his press conferences, like he's giving us something, and he's also joking around. Like, if this is the culture that they're establishing, I love it. And then hearing also from Jacoby Brissett, because that's 4 hours before the game, and then you hear about his pregame speeches making Jacoby Brissett and other players like emotional. So it's like he has both sides of that kind of feel where, sure, he can joke around and stuff too, but when it comes to getting the guys ready for a game, like, yeah, he's got some fire and he gets them ready because, through 2 weeks, they've played both great games. Obviously, you lose in overtime, that's tough, but Seattle's a great team, and then the Bengals are a good team. So I'm just happy about where they are right now.
And they're accountability driven too, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, that's been awesome too. The Judon thing, of course, he's been out, but more recently, Jalen Reagor, who's been either a healthy scratch or on the practice squad, he posted a photo on Instagram of a Bugatti in a shitty garage. And I'm not kidding. I think it was 2 hours later. There was a tweet from the Patriots. Patriots released wide receiver Jalen Reagor from the practice squad. So it's one of those things where it's like, hey, if you're not happy and you're gonna, talk about it, get the hell out of here. We don't have room for it. And they've also rewarded players for the good things. Javon Baker, he was inactive week 1. Week 2, he was like the practice player of the week, and then he was up for the game and playing. So it's an incredible culture. Great start to the Mayo era.
Hey, I'm happy for Coach Mayo. I'm happy for former players getting in the coaching role and having success, and also kind of debunking the players coach thing. Like everybody automatically assumes players coach not going to be able to be. If he has success following in Bill Belichick's whistle, sleeveless hoodie, whatever you want to call it, what a job. That's tough. Joining us now, ladies and gentlemen, is a country music icon. You saw him on The Voice where he won 9 times.
Wow.
Remember this thing?
Beast.
This thing here. This thing right here. He's an Oklahoman. And I'd like to formally announce this weekend on College Game Day, live from Oklahoma's first SEC game against the University of Tennessee Volunteers, he will be the celebrity guest picker, Blake Shelton.
Yay!
How you doing, brother?
Hey, you guys are desperate if you need me to come out and make the picks. I'm honored, though. Trust me, I'm honored to do it.
No, we are not desperate. We are incredibly lucky. I know you disappeared from The Voice. We all miss you, don't we?
Yeah.
We all miss you.
Show's not the same.
Show's not the same. I know you're touring here, I believe, in February. I don't know. You're starting a tour here in a while. But I follow on Instagram, as we all do. You've been tilling the land. You've been off the fucking grid. Now, it seems like, where are you right now?
I'm actually in Utah right now, elk hunting, and this is amazing up here. I didn't grow up getting to elk hunt. Obviously, living in Oklahoma, so getting to come out and do different things like this and get some exercise and get my ass kicked a little bit trying to get up and down these mountains with a hangover every morning. It's what I need in my life, Matt. This is why I quit The Voice, so I could start doing more stuff like this.
So with that being said, you coming in to do College Game Day, we're incredibly thankful. We're incredibly thankful and very excited.
Listen, I told all the guys in at the camp here where we're staying, I said, man, you ain't gonna believe this. Pat just texted me and asked me to go do the ESPN Game Day, and of course everybody, you got to do it, man. I said, yeah, but I don't know shit about all these teams he's going to ask me. I'm obviously a OU fan and an OSU fan too, Oklahoma State. I don't know if it's legal to be both or not, but I always have been. Just I pull for all 3 of the teams. Tulsa too. It's just obviously a hometown kind of guy, but obviously OU is the.
Don't worry. Hey, listen, you don't have to know shit. You should see me up. No, you don't have to know anything. You'll be able to figure it out. We're thankful you're coming, and the students at Oklahoma are going to lose their mind when you walk in there. Are you?
Oh, well, I'm excited, man. I've got a lot of friends and family that go to every single one of the games. So this obviously the first SEC game at home it's just. The whole state is buzzing, It's just going to be huge, and on top of that particular game is going to be, a tough game. So I'm excited. I'm so excited you guys asked me to do it.
Okay, cool. We're pumped to hear it. Let's talk about your football fandom. Obviously, Oklahoma, OSU, and Tulsa, because you're an Oklahoman boy. You're an Oklahoma boy. Arizona Cardinals, though, might have a team.
Now we can talk about the Cardinals. I can finally talk about them and be excited this year.
Okay, this is the year. We're believing full heaven. Now, can you go back and tell the story about how you became an Arizona Cardinals fan, and is now the best time to be a Cardinals fan since Kurt Warner was doing his thing?
Yeah. Well, it's a boring story, but I'll tell you, when I moved to Nashville in 1994, and a couple of years after I got there, there was a citywide vote, and I remember there were signs in people's yards, almost like it was amazing. It was just a huge movement. Vote yes for the NFL. I remember seeing these signs everywhere, and they were trying to get the Oilers to come to Nashville, and the vote went through. Obviously, people wanted the team there, and I remember I had a roommate at the time. I said, and he was a big NFL fan, and I said, man, let's watch some football this weekend and show me the difference when we're watching this game. These games, what the difference is, the NFL and college football. They're basically the same, but I wanted to know because I didn't grow up watching the NFL that much back then. And that night, I think, was Arizona versus the Chargers or somebody, and we watched the game, and it was a nail-biter, and I think Arizona must have won. And from that moment on, I just became a huge Arizona Cardinals fan. Even when the Titans came to town and Steve McNair was he was a hero. He was my hero. I loved that guy. I would still, if I had to pick which game to watch, I would always watch Arizona though. And then of course, they had the run with Kurt Warner, and then another pretty good run with Carson Palmer. After that, and I told you I had a guest here with me that he's still hunting right now, but Colt McCoy is here at camp with us, and I was wanting him to stick his head in. He said that he had been on your show a couple of times, and I was going to have him poke his head in.
He's going to be the governor of Texas. He's going to be governor of Texas.
Yeah.
I think that's going to happen for Colt McCoy. What a legend, that guy. Legit. I think he's going to be the governor of fucking Texas. Isn't that like they're saying,
oh yeah,
if anybody can do it, it's our fucking Colt McCoy.
Yep.
that is literally what they're saying about that guy.
I thought Matthew McConaughey was in the running, but maybe you're right. Maybe it is Colt.
Oh, I think it's McConaughey will pass the baton to Colt McCoy. I believe that's how it's going. Obviously, up in the mountains of Utah here, and it's back. The Arizona Cardinals are back, though. You guys are gonna be good this year now.
We saw the game Sunday. My God, now that Marvin Harrison Jr. had his got over the hump, and that first quarter was. It was shocking. I remember I was sitting there watching the game Sunday and just thinking the other shoe's going to fall. That always happens with Arizona. They could be, 40 points ahead, and the shit hits the fan, and something unheard of happens. And they just held it together the entire game. And I've just had so many games where we've played the Rams and just terrible things happen. And I don't know. I'm just so excited. I thought we played the hell out of that the Buffalo game too. I thought we looked good there. I mean, weren't able to hang on there till the end, but I'll take it. Just to know that we have a chance, that it's worth canceling anything I got going on Sundays to watch the game now is it's going to be worth it.
Does Gwen watch? Is Gwen a Cards fan now?
She'll sit there while I'm watching, and I'll get up and scream about something, and she'll look up from her phone and what, and but not really, She wears. They send us gifts every now and then, and she'll wear their shit, She'll put the sock hat on or whatever, but she's not really a football fan at all,
Yeah. Hey, listen. Look up from the phone. What happened? Catch up. Oh, sweet. Yeah. Let's move along. I think that's happening in a lot of houses. But young girls in the game now. Taylor Swift.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Taylor Swift has brought them into football, brother. It is a beautiful time for both.
I don't think she misses a game. I don't think she's ever misses a game anymore. It's amazing.
Yeah, she's a football fan.
Yeah. I think they're going to get married. Let's talk about it. You think they're going to get married, Pat?
Since the beginning, Blake. Since the beginning. And you're in a high-profile celebrity relationship here now that I assume some people potentially said was pushed behind the scenes. Like, hey, good publicity here. You two kind of date each other. I assume there was some of that chatter. I'm not 100% sure. But anytime popular people date, there's always
of course. Because it makes...
Go ahead.
No, it's just because it makes perfect sense to marry somebody to try to promote your career.
But I'm saying that's
there was plenty of that. But go ahead though. What were you saying?
No, but that's the world you live in whenever you guys are superstars and you date or try to find a relationship with another superstar, especially with, Travis is like GOAT right now on greatest dynasty that could potentially be in the history of the NFL. And then Taylor Swift is global icon that she is. So I think a lot of people thought it was fake. I thought from the beginning, though, the personality traits seemed to be a good match. Travis Kelce, tight end, not a quarterback. He's okay with being behind Patrick Mahomes whenever they're walking on a red carpet. So Taylor Swift, I assume she had to deal with a lot of dudes that weren't necessarily happy to be in the shadow of who Taylor Swift. Yeah. I think Travis Kelce's cool with that. Mm-hmm. I think he is very, very cool with that and in his own. And then for Taylor, she's been looking for seemingly a man.
And Travis too. I don't think Travis. I've been around him just once or twice. And he doesn't have. I don't think he really has it in him to just. He's a standout no matter where he is or what he's doing. He's just got this big personality. He's a funny guy. He walks into the room and he has a presence there. So there's never going to be that moment where he's in the shadows anyway, just because of his charisma and his personality anyway. He just kind of owns the moment, whatever that is, whether it's at that picture you just had up there at one of her shows. He's just willing to go there. I love his personality. He's a ton of fun. His brother too. I'm a fan of both of theirs.
Yeah, the Kelce brothers are awesome. Jason Kelce on TV every Monday, and then New Heights every single. I think new episode just dropped today. It's like love that the Kelce brothers are showcasing football to a brand new people. They're the perfect people to be the football representative for this. You believe in them? You believe in them? You believe in Taylor and Travis?
I do, man. I think the fact that and the fact that they're both they're just kind of putting it out there in everybody's face, like there's no sneaking around or trying to tamp things down or keep it on the down low. I think when you're willing to just come out and just kind of put it in everybody's face that you're together and you're owning it, that's something that that's what Gwen and I did. It's like, look, I'm dating Gwen Stefani. I want the fucking world to know that. You know what I mean? It's like, that's right. That's me. That's me. So, it's the fact that they're going there, it shows that they're probably super into each other and proud of each other and their accomplishments.
I agree. Hey, congrats to them, and congrats to you and Gwen.
Yeah, it's awesome.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Hey, love's not an easy thing, obviously. And whenever you find it in the midst of a lot of chaos, seemingly, and so many outside factors and opinions, it's a beautiful thing. Just like you and Gwen are a beautiful couple. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a beautiful thing.
Thank you, buddy.
It's a perfect match? Did you expect that? Because you just said, I wanted everybody to know I'm fucking Gwen. Yeah, that's
no.
Gwen Stefani. That's
yeah. No, I mean, if you would have told me 10 years ago, that, I'm going to marry Gwen Stefani, I would have laughed in your face just because I wouldn't have even thought I would have ever met Gwen Stefani, So, having a chance to meet her and then find out that, that we just have this chemistry together, it's just, it was meant to be, man. I really feel like that. And I tell you what else is a shame that your viewers don't know, and maybe all the folks there in the studio, that I had you lined up to go against Gwen Stefani on Barmageddon, man. It's like,
I know.
But you had that whole family thing you had to handle.
Daughter,
with having a baby and stuff, But that would have been an epic matchup, though, man. She's ready. She was ready for you.
Well, she thought she was, certainly, and I know I understand. I understand all that, but beautiful baby girl Mackenzie came a couple weeks early. I wasn't able to attend, but I did appreciate the hell out of the invite. Now, on that note, Ty has a question for you.
Yeah, Blake. So, how much fun is that doing Barmageddon, especially with all the other shit you got going on with the touring and all the other stuff that you're doing? I mean, elk hunting, obviously, but how much fun is it filming that? And is it difficult? Like, how long does it take to film those? Because I assume you're getting boozed up during the filming of the episodes as well.
What was the call time? 9 a.m., I think, is whenever I was supposed to be showing up to Barmageddon. I'm like, Blake, I like to have a good time. 9 a.m. is it?
Yeah. That was That was the only part about it, but it didn't matter. I mean, Carson and I, the way that show was invented was during COVID. We continued to work on The Voice, but because of the COVID restrictions and stuff, there wasn't that many people even allowed in the studio. So there was like just a handful of camera guys. There was no audience, and it was hard to shoot The Voice back then. And so there was tons of downtime in between takes. And so Carson and I spent, that year in his dressing room, just drinking all day. And one day we were sitting in his dressing room, and that show Holy Moly was on.
Oh, dude.
Joe Tess.
And we were watching it, and I said, what would make this show better is if they were drinking on the show and cussing, and like guys do when they go to the sports bar or go to the golf course. I said, if somebody would air that, I would be a fan. I would watch it. And the more we talked, the more we decided we were going to try to talk NBC into letting us make that show. And so sure enough, we were able to talk them into it. They didn't put it on NBC. They put it on USA because they knew, where we were probably going to go with it. So to answer Ty's question, though, we shoot a whole season of that in about a week or 10 days. We shoot 2 a day and then 1 a day, but we really are. I mean, all those shots that we're doing and drinking. I mean, we really wanted it to be real and go there. So even though we're starting at 9 a.m., I mean, we're really getting in it. That's why whenever you were texting me, you were before you knew you're going to have to bail. You were like, man, are we going to drink? Are we going to drink some damn beer on the show? I'm like, yes, I promise you, we are going to drink, Pat. I promise you.
It sounded like with how professional it was. I get the email. It's like a full professional thing, and like everything it's NBC. Like you think of NBC, you don't think of that. And they're like Barmageddon. I'm like, this got to be gimmick drinks. It's got to be gimmick drinks, because I feel pretty good if I'm performing against other people while boozing. I feel pretty solid, and I thought that would be quite an advantage for me. And I is this a Hollywood situation, or are we actually? No, yeah, we're drinking we're drinking beers out here. I'm like.
Yeah.
That's
why I wanted to film it. We film it at Old Red, which is my bar down on Broadway in Nashville, and because we wanted it to be authentic and go there as much as we could. At the end of the day, we're still trying to make a TV show and something that's airable. But there was a few episodes where, like Kelly Clarkson, for instance, I mean, she was absolutely hammered by the end of the episode. It was. I've never seen her. Like maybe once or twice before in all the years I've known her, like she just said, "Screw it! I came here to drink and play bar games," and so she went for it. Like it was incredible.
Hey, massive respect to Kelly Clarkson.
Shout out!
What a play!
Seriously,
what a play!
dog.
Now, Old Red's the damnedest dog that I'd ever seen. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
I asked him whenever he came and did his show here, and Ty brought it up there about touring. Your shows aren't just like you don't just roll the ball out there. You don't just roll the ball out there. You put on a full, it is a show. It is a night. My wife and I, that was the last time we went out before the baby was born, and we were dancing, having a good time. And I asked you beforehand, I was like, are you going to play Old Red? Because it's like from way back. He goes, if I don't play Old Red, they'll pick me up and throw me out of this fucking state. I was like, okay, sweet. All right, I'm happy to hear that. You put on a show for all of us, and you talk so much shit against the Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. I mean, the full PowerPoint in between songs, just bringing up every single time the Patriots either won a Super Bowl or beat the Colts. Thank you so much for doing that, Blake. That was one of the coolest things I've ever seen at a concert.
It was unbelievable. He's a stand-up comedian. This guy's playing a song. He goes, this song was the #1 hit in 2004. What was going on in Indianapolis in 2004? And then he bring up a headline, and it'll be like, new oil motor thing. And what happened in the NFL then? Oh, no way. Boom. Another Patriots Super Bowl. And it was like in front of you. It was amazing.
Massive screen. Like it wasn't just like a little reference. It was this massive photo of Brady holding up the Lombardi. It was incredible.
And this smart ass goes, no, I didn't know that. And then, go ahead.
Don't shoot the messenger.
Okay.
I was just delivering the message of what happened. It's historical. It's just
facts.
What can I say? It's not my fault.
It was a great show. It was a phenomenal show.
Unreal.
Whole place going crazy.
Thanks, buddy.
standing room only at the top, at the very, very top of this thing.
Bar around the stage.
Bar around the stage, sold
Hell
out.
yeah.
I mean, it was a great show, Blake. Honestly, you could do that forever.
I love doing my shows these days. You know, back years ago, for me to do a concert of that length, you know, you'd have to throw in a lot of covers or, you know, album cuts and things, and you can kind of feel the crowd slipping. But I've been doing this now for so long. I think it's 24 years or 23 years since I had my first hit song, which was a song called Austin 100 years ago. But I've just been doing it so long now that there's just been so much music that it's fun for me to get up there and then relive the old days and play a lot of those old songs and hope people remember them, like Old Red or Austin and songs like that, right up into songs that we have out currently, and it's just a blast for me because there's so many memories come back. I don't do that many concerts anymore. I do like maybe 18 or 20 shows a year, and so they're a big deal for me when I get up there, and I like to drag it out and have as much fun as I can and poke fun at the crowd and try to win them back over. And that was what I was attempting to do that night with the Colts stuff.
Yeah, you lost everybody. Everybody left. They were so pissed. Yeah, nobody left their seat, obviously. Hey, is that gimmick beer up there you're drinking when you're performing?
Oh yeah.
That's actual beer.
I swear, Pat. I treat it like, it's a party for me too. Even though I have a lot of pressure and a lot of weight to carry, especially when you go in and you play an arena show like we did that night when you came out. There's a lot on you, but at the same time, it's once it starts, you might as well treat it like you're at a house party or sitting around a campfire, jamming, because that's what people came there for. They want to just see something that maybe they feel like you don't do anywhere else, and things that you don't say anywhere else whenever you're doing a show, and try and keep it as local as you can. And so that's what I try to do, and talk about memories, talk about places, coming up, bars and things that I played in Indiana coming up, and just try to be relatable, because I have been there, so many times and all over this country that it's fun now to go back, and it really does feel like I'm just singing for old friends and stuff anymore. And that's why I'm not really nervous to poke fun about the Colts or something, because by now people, if they're coming out to my shows, they pretty much know my sense of humor and that I don't take myself serious, and you're just not allowed to do that at my concerts, and it's a blast, man.
It is great. We had people that didn't know your songs were in our suite. Obviously, me and my wife and many in this studio, big fans, know your shit. And it was like everybody just had a good time. It was just a very good time. The way you handle it, the pacing of it all. You talk shit on a couple people, I think, in the middle of it too, which we loved. Yeah. We enjoyed that. We enjoyed a little shit talk out there. I think it was about memorizing and remembering all the words to the songs you talked about. Yeah. It was a good punchline. I was like, damn, this guy put on. This is a full show here. Comedy. We got some dancing. His ass was dancing up.
Oh, yeah.
We got some beer drinking.
Solo shot, just guitar on the stool.
Oh, yeah. That was a real moment.
That was cool.
That was a real moment out there.
Oh, thank you.
Look at you. You're a showman, this guy.
Yeah.
Hey, he's a fucking showman. This guy's a showman. AJ has a question for you, Blake.
Blake, how was that touring, I guess, changed from back in the day until now? We hear a lot of these people touring now, bringing like all their personal trainers, and they have a semi that has a weight room and smoothies before. Like, is that any of that kind of integrated into your whole, touring schedule?
Can you? I don't know if you can see a good angle on me right now.
You got camo on. You can't see shit.
Look great.
Do I
look great?
Does this look like a guy that brings his gym with him? But I tell you, I do though, AJ. If we go to a place and sometimes I'll wake up and I'll text my tour manager and say, hey, do they got a treadmill or anything in there? I have got to sweat out last night, And if they do, I'll go in there and spend 45 minutes or whatever, doing my walk/run, for 30 minutes or 45 minutes, just to try to sweat out the night before, not necessarily, thinking I'm going to get in shape or anything. It's more of just a survival mode. But if they don't have a gym or I'm not allowed to go in there because whatever team is practicing that day or whatever, that's my excuse to go out. All right. At least I tried. At least I asked.
Yes, you did. Yeah, God let you know that it wasn't available today. Yeah, you're not meant to work.
I'm a country singer. We don't have to be in shape, to be. We're supposed to be relatable. So
yeah, it's business.
That's why my man boobs are worth a lot of money, for me because my fans look at me and go, man, look at that. It is okay to have these man boobs.
Hey, thanks for inspiring millions. While making millions. Honestly, what a hero, this entire guy. You took a little bit of a step forward into tomorrow's country music with a massive collab. Connor has a question for you.
Yeah, Blake, obviously one of the songs of the summer, Pour Me a Drink, you did with Post Malone. And
somebody pour me a drink, somebody pour me a smoke.
That was fantastic. I mean, we listened to it before the show. What was that like, being a feature, obviously, because you don't do too many of those? And also, do you think more people are going to do what Post Malone does and kind of cross over into country, and have others reached out to you to maybe feature on some of those types of albums?
Well, I think, you're probably going to start seeing a lot more people try to cross over into country music. It seems like it's been happening in the last couple of years more than I've ever seen before. I guess it's really always happened. I mean, you go back to artists like, Conway Twitty. Conway Twitty was a rock artist, a pop artist before he was ever a country artist, So it's been happening for years. It just seems like more recently there's been a lot of it, and which is exciting that country is that hot right now. I think the reason it's working so well with Post is it's not something that he's just trying like a one-off thing. I mean, the guy grew up in the Fort Worth area down in Texas. He grew up listening to George Strait and country music, and it's truly something that helped create the artist that he is. So it's not something that he's just trying. It's something that he's finally getting to do is how I feel about it with Post, because he's so knowledgeable about country music and the writers and the musicians, and you can sit and talk with him. And the first time I got a chance to sit and talk to him just about country music, I was blown away, because he was telling me stuff that I didn't know, and he's fans of musicians that he's introducing me to that are old school even. And so the fact that it's truly coming from a place of, I think a dam finally burst with him, and he's just able to do this thing that he's always wanted to do versus just trying something different. I feel like Post is probably here to stay in country music, and it's fun, man. I love that kid so much. He's so much fun to be around. I mean, it's no wonder that he's one of the biggest stars on the planet, because he's just such a lovable guy. I don't know if you guys have met him or if he's been on this show or not. But
have not. Big fans. We are big fans. We are big fans. You have trillion.
He's exactly who you want him to be when you talk to him. I mean, he's just the greatest dude. He really is.
His dance moves too fucking captivate me.
Oh yeah, good dance moves.
He's feeling it up there. He is feeling it.
Yeah.
He's a full performer. Like he is in it. I think that is why. And if this country thing continues, and he's going to just make one of these albums every summer, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I mean, incredible. Fun.
I am okay with that as well. Bunch of bangers down there.
Yeah.
Pour Me a Drink, obviously phenomenal.
I don't know if I answered the question or not. There's always people that are gonna try it, and most of the times I think it's probably not going to work because when something's not authentic, I mean you can see through that, especially with music, and but when it does click and it is right, you see what's happening for Post right now, and there's no denying that he truly loves country music, and because he has that respect for it, and he shows up at a bar and does 2 hours worth of cover songs, George Strait and Brooks and Dunn and whatever, there's no denying that it's a true passion that he has, and that's why I think it's connecting. I noticed when you guys were singing Pour Me a Drink a second ago, everybody was singing it except AJ I was just. Does
I got a little
AJ
delay
never
over
sing?
here.
Does he never sing or?
No, he doesn't dance.
I got a little
doesn't sing.
delay over here, Blake. A little delay, like a second delay, so I would mess all the boys up. You know how it
good reverb.
He's an asshole. That's pretty much.
He's
it.
a prick. He's a prick. That's the truth of it. That's the truth of it, Bright. That's the real deal. Yeah, we have to deal with it every day. He always says, "I'm not your dancing monkey." You know? Wiz Khalifa was performing at Radio Row, and AJ Hawk on our stage got audience banned from Radio Row actually because we did this. Wiz Khalifa is performing in front of let's say 60 people at Radio Row Super Bowl. Okay, this is during COVID too. During COVID, everyone's in there. This
really good.
It was a phenomenal performance. AJ Hawk is 2 feet away from this dude, Wiz Khalifa. Okay, small stage. And he's like, "Put your hands up, put your hands up." Obviously, everybody is like, "Mr. Wiz Khalifa, you got it. Hands up." There's a photo. AJ is 2 feet away from him, staring at him. I'm not your dancing.
Hands down.
No,
Wow.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, Blake. The disrespect is real from this man over here.
Wow.
Yeah, that's not good.
But somehow I respect his disrespectfulness. He's solid. He's rock solid. Yeah, he is.
Oh, yes.
He doesn't waver for anybody. Nobody.
Not Wiz. Not
I
Blake.
like it.
Not Post Malone.
Nope.
I did put my hands up. The DJ asked me to put my hands up on the mic, and I absolutely did. And there's picture evidence of it, Blake. But Pat refuses to acknowledge that.
That is everybody
False.
was there.
Wrong.
Yeah, and once again, now we're lying about it. Which
Great
is
show.
That's something
show
Post Malone would never do if I'm learning about it. And Post Malone put his fucking hands up.
Yeah, it would.
Jeez, that'd be an honor to have him on this program.
That'd be very cool.
Last question here comes from Coach Chuck Pagano, who's a massive fan of yours, Blake.
Yeah, so Blake, I was singing. Just to be
hey,
clear,
there's Coach.
my hands
What's
were
up?
up.
Yeah.
But I was reading up. This journey of yours obviously started at a really young age. I guess I read your uncle was the human that taught you how to play the guitar. Who was your idols? Who motivated you to want to become the human that you are now?
Well, I mean, from a musical standpoint, I grew up. I absolutely worshipped Travis Tritt and an artist named Paul Overstreet, George Strait. I remember seeing Garth Brooks' first television special. I guess I was probably a junior or sophomore in high school, and I roofed houses that summer and saved enough money to go buy the exact guitar that Garth was playing. It was like this black Takamine with a cutaway on it, and I wanted to be Garth, and then outside of that, I had my family, growing up, I had a great bunch of people around me that I've always told people, that think that I'm an entertainer. I said, man, if you could just meet my family, I'm the dullest one of the bunch. I mean, they're all comedians. They're all funny. They have great sense of humor. Nobody takes themselves serious in my family. And I mean, cousins, uncles, immediate family, all of them, it's just, I grew up with a bunch of people that just tried to one up each other, all the time with comedy and being funny and not taking anybody or not taking themselves serious, And so, those were the people that shaped me.
Hey, it's a great day to be alive. I know the sun's still shining when I close my eyes. Talk down in the neighborhood. Why is everything good?
Yeah. Hands up, AJ.
Hands up, AJ. Sing along, AJ.
Song. That's a great song, Blake. I appreciate it. That's a good song.
Hey, we appreciate the hell out of you. I'll see you Saturday in Oklahoma, buddy. You said you worked on roofs in the summer. It's supposed to be 99 degrees. 99 degrees? That's too hot. That's way too hot.
That's what I heard. It's gonna be rough, man. But I'm excited, and thank you for asking me to do this. Thanks for asking me to do this today, man. I'm been a big fan for a long time. I didn't even know Mr. Pagano was in there till just now. So I'm a huge fan, and
respect.
Just his story and journey has been inspiring, and I'm friends with with Steve Keim and Bruce Arians, and I know Bruce's journey through Indianapolis, and I just followed that whole thing, and so I didn't even know he was sitting there. So honored to meet him too.
Honor to meet you.
Oh, yeah, that's what it's all about.
That's what it's all about.
Hey, sweet, that's good. And it's a great day to be alive. All right, we appreciate the hell out of you. Ladies and gentlemen, Blake Shelton. Thank you, Blake. All right, he's just up in the mountains.
That's right.
That's awesome.
AJ, why you got to be an asshole?
I'm happy Blake could see that from the mountains of Utah.
Great songs. I appreciate you guys singing and reminding me of his great hits.
Those aren't Blake's. That's Travis Tritt.
I know Travis Tritt. I see him at the Derby every year.
Okay. Sure.
One of his mentors, one of his idols. He and Garth
Big Derby.
You're the best. Blake, guest picker is sweet.
Yeah, awesome.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
When I went to his show here in Indianapolis, I was asked, "Hey, do you want to meet Blake?" And I was like, "Yeah, I would like to meet Blake Shelton. I've seen this guy on The Voice. My wife, NBC watcher, so Voice was obviously in our world. And Blake, on those shows, it's easy to be corny. And it's easy to, be tough to take entertaining, from our perspective as adults with the way we view life. He was so good on there. And seemingly somehow was climbing the ranks so fast, but never sold out. Like, never felt like he sold out ever. So getting a chance to meet him was really cool. And then I think, and I didn't ask him that, I think he learned of us through the Brett Favre lawsuit whenever it was in a newspaper.
Sure.
And then he read it all and was like, who the hell are these guys? And they started following along. And, it's a nice friend to be able to just text Blake Shelton every once in a while.
Not a doubt.
Yeah. Did you fathom that? How about him knowing, hey, he's a big fan of yours, Mr. Pagano. They didn't call you coach. He said, I'm not good enough to call this guy coach. Mr. Pagano knows his entire story. That is massive respect. Tom Moore interview will roll at 2:05 Eastern Time on YouTube, ESPN Plus, and TikTok Live. TikTok Live has been going up.
Really?
Yeah, TikTok Live has been going up. It is fascinating to see how all these things are kind of trending and working. TikTok also potentially meeting a deadline, an expiration point. So hopefully they figure that whole thing out.
There's a vote this week.
Big one.
On TikTok, yeah.
Yeah, there's already been a couple. And every new vote seemingly is the biggest vote of all time. This is like soccer all of a sudden.
Yeah, exactly.
Every tournament, every game is for the biggest title.
Soccer, the TikTok mess.
Yeah, it is. It is.
How can we not?
The TikTok vote that happened, 4 months ago was the most important vote.
Yeah, the end-all be-all.
And then now there's another vote, and then there's another vote. It's like, whatever the case, the TikTok community that follows us, we're very thankful for. Very positive.
Mm-hmm.
They are like the most positive people on earth.
By far and away.
That's cool.
It is.
Comment section is awesome.
Now, granted, the TikTok people, they will take your shit down quicker than anywhere else.
Without a doubt.
They will. Nope.
Yep.
We're done.
Nope. We're allowed to. You better show some evidence.
Mm-hmm.
When? Like within the next 5 minutes. It's like, can we get it 24 hours? Nope, need it now. Here's a screenshot. That's not enough. Okay, here's an agreement. Okay, that's good. Don't do it again, though. Well, we didn't do anything. We had an agreement, but we need to see it. They are the most, I think, out of all parties.
Definitely.
TikTok is the most. They will, people like say Instagram is, because I think a lot of people say, I'm getting shadow banned on Instagram, which I think certainly was happening in places. And X obviously now is just wide open.
Yep.
He wasn't always that way.
Right.
There were certainly levers and everything. TikTok will pull quickest.
Even if you have a swear word in your captions, they'll pull that one down.
Yeah. And if you don't, yes, exactly. If you don't have a star over a U.
Yes.
No wonder they're paused.
Real moral high ground, huh?
People will lose their minds if they ban TikTok, by the way.
Yes. I think there's an entire generation that only utilizes TikTok all day,
100%.
every day, which is a part of the conversation about.
Yeah.
So what do we, it's kind of dog chase tail sitch.
Do they know TikTok's painting dogs that look like pandas?
Okay, let's, that's not, okay.
Interesting.
All right. I don't know, actually. I don't know who's involved with what. I will say those chow dogs, they look like pandas if you just.
They did, yeah.
Don't they all?
All right, let's talk about some NFL news taking place around the NFL. Amon-Ra St. Brown on the St. Brown podcast was chit-chatting with his brother who plays for the Saints. This is what he had to say. Whoa.
Going back to you real quick, EQ. The Saints.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I'm
We're
not
retracting any statements that I had earlier.
Oh, you're not.
It just must be a bad game for the Cowboys. I feel like the Cowboys have those games. They have a great game, great game. Then just have a bad game. So you probably just caught them on one of their bad games.
Are you done?
But you guys,
Are you done?
you guys still don't move me.
Trying to discredit the Cowboys is crazy. With their roster and what they got going on, and as many games as they won, as successful as they've been during the regular season the past 4 or 5 years is crazy. You guys are 2-0. I'm proud of you guys.
Okay, so let's just call that for what it is. That is a brother talking shit to his brother, not to an entire city. Because I can easily see how people would take this clip and go, you see what he said about the Saints and what he said about the Cowboys. Yeah. And it's like, no, he's just talking shit directly to a person. I think that needs to be clarified in this entire situation, AJ.
Yeah, do you think people actually, I guess you're right. People would think that I took it as, hey, brother to brother, he's messing with you. That's what we do.
Yeah, but that's not how it works. I'll talk shit to Foxy.
Oh, yeah.
And all of Detroit will say I'm being rude to Detroit. It's like, no, I'm being rude to Foxy.
Yeah.
I'm talking directly to one person, but it is kind of ancillary shots that get delivered there.
Sure.
Chuck,
people are going to read into it, whatever they're going to read into it, right? So if you put it out there.
How often did you try to use bulletin board material?
A lot.
Yes?
Especially if you needed something. You didn't have something and you were winning and you were doing well and you saw the relief syndrome starting to set in like Coach Saban talks about.
Let's find it.
So we need to fabricate something, put up a fake quote,
We'll see you tomorrow on ESPN as we continue on YouTube, ESPN Plus, and TikTok Live still for the time being. Yep. There's a massive vote happening. If you need something, you'll find something is what you're saying as a coach.
Absolutely.
So if you're Patriots-Jets tonight, is there anything that you're looking for in this particular matchup that anybody has said about anybody? Like, you think Robert Saleh is having an easier job being able to pull stuff because of how the season was starting for them, or you think Gerard Mayo?
I haven't seen anything.
About the Jets? Their fans were ready to quit after week one against the Niners. I mean, they were ready to.
Patriots have like what you guys had, where they were kind of projected to be, the number 1 overall pick or whatever, to be the worst team in the league when you guys had those shirts, right?
Didn't 32. Build the monster.
Yeah.
I got you.
How long can you take that, though? Like, if they have a huge win week 1, how long can you carry the, hey, nobody believes in us, we're supposed to be the worst team in the league type thing?
You try to ride as long as you can, then you know when it's time to cut the thing off.
They're your touchdown dogs.
Like when the players start looking at you like, okay, we got to find something different. This one's not going to roll anymore.
So when you're addressing the team, you're trying to get a feel. You're trying to see, like, okay, is the message still hitting? How about coaches?
And then I think you talk to the collective. I think you talk to your guys too and say, hey, what do you guys think? Is there an angle here? You talk to different guys in the building, different assistants, having guys around. You can bounce some things off. What do you guys think? Should we still try to ride this, or do we need to go down a different avenue?
I know it is still a thing for New England just because they were interviewing Jonathan Jones, and they were talking about how, like, hey, this is the only primetime game you guys have this year. Like, how do you feel about that? And Jonathan Jones mentions, like, it's the only primetime game we have right now. Like, we expect to continue to win and then get flexed into primetime.
And?
No, I'm just talking about them using that still.
What's this guy's doing?
I know he's taking the Jets.
Well, he hasn't given his pick yet.
Yeah,
He's currently 2-0, though, on Thursday Night Football.
But at the end of the day, and AJ will tell you this, you've played, like, that only lasts until the ball's kicked off, right?
No, it's a mindset. It's a mentality.
I know that.
So you don't even believe in your own message, Coach.
Once the ball's kicked off and you start playing.
The German pretzel, I believed in that.
That was strong. German pretzel.
German pretzel.
A great one.
Yeah, it was. It was phenomenal. I still think about it to this day.
The mouse traps.
Great. The German pretzel one, though, is by far your best gimmick you've ever done. I just want to let you know that. As somebody who listened to a lot of your meetings, the German pretzel one sticks out way above all the other.
Do you remember when I had to tell that again? Do you remember where I was when you had me come on the show?
No, I don't remember.
And I just took the job in Chicago.
Yes.
Just took the job in Chicago, right? And I'm out there coaching the NFLPA game.
Oh, yes.
In Los Angeles, we're at the Rose Bowl. And you're like, hey, you got to, and I'm like, Pat, look, I just signed up with the Bears. McAfee's, this is a pretty conservative unit over there.
I didn't even think of that. They didn't even let swear words in.
No. I'm trying to put this thing together. So I came on and told it, try to give the cleanest version.
Didn't have as much sauce. Didn't have as much sauce.
Yeah.
AQ said that, from the coaching perspective that he was and the player's perspective, you go 0-2, there's a panic. You go 3, it's like, do we believe in anything that we're doing right now? Is that inaccurate?
Absolutely. I was watching yesterday, and that's spot on. You start questioning everything that you're doing.
18 years in the NFL, 18 years in college. Is it the same for both of them? If you go 0-3, everybody's wondering if the process is one.
The noise, especially if there's no expectations around, then who cares? But when there's expectations and you're supposed to be 2-0 and you're supposed to win that last game, but you're sitting there, okay, we're sitting here at 0-2, and now everybody, all the pundits are saying, okay, first of all, like 0-2, like there's been, 6 teams in the last, since whenever, to make the playoffs, starting 0-2.
Only 2 in the last 5 years. That is last 5 years. I don't know, 6 in total.
So the percentages are like, it's sick. So you start to quit. To the team, hey, let's just keep pounding. Whatever that mantra was for that year, you're going to try to stay consistent with your message and say, hey, look, if we would have just stopped these 3 runs that went for 180 yards, we would have held them to 2.5 yards a carry.
That's not bad.
Really, really good. That
we're not as bad as we think.
That leads the league. So you can't get 2-holed. You can't get cut off. You can't dive underneath this thing, and you got to make the tackle. We're right. So you keep trying to build that up and try to. But then it's got to work. Something you got to win. It's got to win. Something's got to change. Otherwise, it's like you can only, for so long, right?
Yeah.
Because you got to stay positive and you try to not hit that panic. But behind the scenes, behind the closed doors, when you're starting to feel the pressure from front office and this, that, and you might have went into a season on the hot seat. Now you start feeling that, and this guy gets a little bit knotted up, and this guy gets a little knot, and then you're feeling that.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's fun.
Sounds like fun.
If it means anything, you did a great job of disguising it when you came in and go, if we 2-gap and we're just 3 plays away. We're just 3 plays away. I think that is like the job of a coach, though, is to find the message that hits. If we get 3 weeks into this season, though, and we're already talking about fired coaches, look out. We're already bench player because the season was slipping away. Did you see that wording from Carolina? Season's slipping away. 2 weeks into this thing, they bench Bryce Young. But then Canales also came out and said he watched film, and he wants to be able to stand in front of the room and say, hey, we are trying to be the best team we can be. And now he can do that easily because he did it as quarterback. It's not just quarterback position. He would do it anywhere.
So if he makes it another year, down there, and that's dicey with Tepper. We all know that.
If Canales makes it another year?
So if he makes it another year, I hope he does. I think he's a good dude, good looking guy and all that
what are
stuff.
The chances?
But it's just a take a frickin' deep breath. Don't go to the mic, he's our guy. And then you're going to sleep on it. You're going to watch the tape. And then you're going to just don't say nothing. Hey, we got our asses kicked. I did a shit job of preparing this team, and we got our asses kicked. That falls on me. Then you go back, watch tape, talk to your staff, go through all the deals, and then, but you can't just run up there and say, yeah, he's our guy. And then 24 hours go back and say, we're sitting him down. I got to hold him accountable, hold the whole team accountable. This is a, developmental mindset here. We're going to develop not only him, but it's going to be everybody. Then you're going to come back. Yeah, we truly believe, that he's worthy of being the number 1 pick, and he's got a bright future on this, and we're going to have to keep developing. I mean, come on. You can't do that.
He's learning.
Because you
new head coach.
You just spend less is more.
Hey, those press conferences not fun?
No.
Not at all.
No.
Not one bit, because any answer you give, you could step in it literally 24 hours later about your starting quarterback, for instance.
That's why that's why it's so important, especially after a game. Talk to your team, address your team. Okay? Good or bad, right? Then go to your office, go wherever, go sit down and just get with your PR guy, get your stats, get the numbers, they got this now. What's trend? What are they going to ask me? So all you got to do is ask you, what's trending? What are they going to ask me?
Fake punt.
Think you knew.
Yeah. Whose idea was that? Fucking Pat. I mean, him and fucking Midge came to me. I knew.
No.
But I love
middle gentleman.
But you got to die. But just take a deep breath and give yourself a minute to kind of collect yourself and, okay, all right. And what are we going to say? This is what we're going to say. Boom. And then you go in there.
Tom McMahon's still doing it, brother. He's so pumped up about the Raiders team over there.
Yeah.
He's losing his mind, yeah. But it is interesting because, like the Bryce Young situation, I guess it is amplified because he says he's our guy on Sunday immediately afterwards. Yeah. I wonder who's calling the shot center. I saw Tepper was done in practice, walked onto the field, shook some hands, said, hey, how we doing? How's the team feel? Good beard on. Athletic trainer taking a squirt there of players' bottles.
Great memes of this video.
What were they saying?
I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna say what they were saying,
Just
but
maybe a couple of them.
Got a cob.
Some good observations.
It's all the same one.
Yeah.
He's him being on the field. Obviously, he's an owner. He can do whatever the hell he wants. But the entire story of his ownership has been, I'll make the decisions, Ryan.
Yeah.
And now Canales, the way he said I'm and I see and I want to say this, it's like, okay, has Canales made this decision? How does Tepper feel about it? Now that's just a natural question to ask. And what does the future look like for Carolina? How many years, if they survive, do they get to put in motion, this next vision of the team? Last vision of the team was Bryce Young. This vision of the team, what is it? And if Bryce Young comes back and leads this team, that'll certainly be a underdog story.
Without a doubt.
Of the century.
Yeah, it's a lose-lose, though, right? Because if they win games, they're not going to get a good draft pick. And if they lose games, then Tepper's just going to fire Canales.
Yeah, I mean, there's a chance you could look at this from a pessimistic, which some people would say a realist fashion, which would be the way you go. Or Andy Dalton could come in there with a red axe to grind.
That's right.
And maybe this offense.
The Red Rocket can sling it now.
He really can.
He can win games.
He can.
And he knows he's got 1,000,000 snaps. And he's won. I mean,
I was listening to him live. He was live either yesterday or 2 days ago on Carolina Panthers X. And they asked him if he's seen some things, in the offense. And he's like, yeah, obviously. I see things. I've been able to face every single defense. I know every single pressure that's coming. I feel like that is an advantage that I have as a veteran player. He said he tried to enjoy every single day of the practice, working against the practice squad team or with the practice squad team, yada, yada, yada. He seems very ready and very excited. And that would mean that he would understand the offense, which is a whole other conversation gets added into the Bryce Young convo. He had the Billy O'Brien offense his senior year of college at Alabama. Then he had the Frank Reich, Josh McCown offense his rookie year. Now he's got the David Canales offense. He's had 3 different offenses in 3 years. So whenever Canales comes out and says, like, functionally for our offense to operate, it's like maybe Bryce Young doesn't have a handle of the offense. Maybe Andy Dalton has a little bit more of a handle on the offense, and they want to be able to see if this offense can work or not. So I think Andy Dalton's optimistic as he would have to be. He's stepping onto a football field. You can obviously get hurt. But maybe they're able to see if this offense is worth a shit, too, down there in Carolina, if he operates it. And if Bryce Young having to learn 3 offenses in 3 years is a lot. Like, that is a lot for anybody. There's been some quarterbacks that haven't been able to do it. Matt Ryan came to the Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah.
And he and the offensive line were never on the same page because of the offense.
Rocket scientist.
And not being able to figure it out. What's going on? Why you shake your head like that?
I forgot about the Matt Ryan thing. There's another fucking A-plus move bringing him in.
Okay. There's no reason to take
You guys mentioned that they weren't never tied to Bryce either.
Never.
That wasn't his draft pick. So we got Joey Gilbert down there, Harold Goodwin. You remember Goody?
Goody, yeah.
Guys we love. Hopefully they get this thing turned around.
Maybe Andy Dalton's got to do it. Stay in the NFC South. A legendary coach in the history of just sports, but more specifically football, has written a book called The Player's Coach. It is awesome. You should read it. And the human that wrote it, if you can get through his cadence, the way he speaks, the messaging is beautiful. This is actually an electrifying conversation with a man who's done it all in football. Ladies and gentlemen, Tom Moore. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us right now is an author of a book, The Player's Coach. And that is a story of a man who's been coaching football for 64 years, 50 in the NFL, 15 division titles, 4 Super Bowl victories, the ability to say that he's coached Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Terry Bradshaw, Lynn Swann, Marshall Falk, Edgerrin James, Marvin Harrison, Adam Vinatieri, Pat McAfee. Ladies and gentlemen, the living legend. He once backed up Johnny Unitas and won a national championship at Iowa. Coach for the Buccaneers, Tom Moore. How you doing, Coach?
Thank you, Pat. Appreciate it. Glad to be on your show. It's an honor.
Hell yeah, the honor is mine. How is this football life going for you? You still love it just as much as you did 60 years ago, Coach?
Oh, definitely. It's what keeps me going. It's fun. It's competitive. And the challenge, the process, that's what makes it great.
What did they say? I don't know if you said it to somebody on air or off air, on the record or off the record, but somebody said, as the oldest coach in the history of the NFL, that you were quoted as saying, they're going to have to drag my ass off in a box when this thing's all said and done. Is that accurate?
Well, it's not quite accurate. I said they're going to have to carry me out boots first.
Okay.
I used to watch those old Western movies where a guy would go into a saloon and get shot. Then they drag him out boots first.
Okay, and that's how this is going to go in your football life. I was very lucky to get to watch you work with the Indianapolis Colts whenever Peyton Manning was there. Obviously, we have a lot of mutual friends. Everybody has massive respect for you, Tom Moore. Now, I think the thing that they respect so much, not only that you're a player's coach and you listen to your players and yada, 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 but the way that your brain has evolved through the football iterations. Right now, they're saying football is the worst it's ever been. You would literally be the person to ask that question to. Is that accurate, you think, or no?
No, I don't think so. I think the game is tremendous. I don't get to see all the games, obviously, like you guys do on Sunday, but you look at the scorecard, you see all these games going right down to the final second, the final minute. It's a play here, play there, and I think it's probably more exciting than it's ever been.
Yeah, and that's why the ratings and the money are through the roof. How do you feel about the new iterations and the usage of space on offensive side of the ball, like spreading everybody out, utilizing every yard, trying to put people in compromising positions? Do you think it's sustainable, or do you think we're going to go back to old school football at some point?
Well, I think the biggest thing you do with the game of football is you do what your personnel allows you to do. And, of course, so many colleges run the spread offenses, and the development of the college quarterbacks and receivers, I think, has kind of trickled up to the pros, and the pro coaches are utilizing their personnel, and that's what dictates it. They'll do what they have to do. If they get the great running back and a great tight end, they're going to run the football. But if they got the wide receivers, they want to take advantage of them.
How do you feel about Baker Mayfield as your quarterback? Obviously, he's had a long road to get to where he is now, seemingly playing his best ball at home in Tampa. What are your thoughts on him since you met him a couple years ago there in Tampa and now?
Love Baker. Would go to war with Baker anytime, anywhere. He's a competitor. He's smart. He studies. He prepares. He gives you everything that you need to win. He's a great person and a great athlete.
If you had to compare some of his qualities or traits to those of the past that you have coached, and I listed them off in your introduction, but Peyton, Tom, Terry Bradshaw. Now, obviously, you start talking about the greats of the game. You've been around them. Whenever you see a Baker, is there like qualities you see immediately that make you think of a player that you coached previously that was great, or are each of these guys different in their own right?
Well, each of them are different in their own right. Each of them has their specialty. One thing Baker does that the other three didn't do is he's a pretty good runner. Once he gets trapped and makes some plays with his feet. Of course, with Tom and Terry and Peyton, they're pretty much pocket passers, stayed in the pocket. You didn't put in the RPOs and things like that, but you didn't have to because their strength was throwing the football.
Coach, can you tell immediately if a guy's going to suck in the NFL at the quarterback position?
Can I tell you what?
If the guy's going to, if a guy, I don't know what you heard. What I meant to say was, can you tell if a guy is going to suck at quarterback in the NFL? We see a lot of these quarterbacks that are great in college, get to the NFL, and don't do that well, and then kind of flame out. 50 years in the NFL, I assume you've seen a lot of that. Can you tell immediately if a guy's going to have it in the NFL or not? How long do you think you should wait to see if a guy's got it?
Well, I think that's an individual thing. With what teams want their quarterback to do, what they expect of them. And it takes a lot of work and a lot of training, and you got to give a guy a chance. And the only way you can do it is you got to play him, and you learn by playing, and you learn with the experience. And there's a lot of great quarterbacks that have come through the league, and everybody's trying to compare them and rank them, and that's really not fair because everybody's different and everybody has their strength, and teams have won with a lot of different types of quarterbacks.
Yeah, what's happening in Carolina there is obviously in your division is a big talking point, but I feel like a much larger talking point is there's a lot of rookie quarterbacks and young quarterbacks that are great in college and then don't make it in the NFL. We never chat about that during the draft process, though, because every one of them is going to be the one that's going to carry the team to the Super Bowl, which is seemingly an impossible feat for most. Connor has a question for you, Coach.
Yeah, Coach, on that point, what do you think is kind of the biggest thing when it comes to development for the rookies? Do you think the situation, of course, has to do with it, but also how do you feel about these rookies that are starting right away versus the ones that get to sit and have some time? Because we're kind of split here with Caleb and Jaden and Bo Nix versus, Drake May and Penix, who are getting to kind of learn a little bit. Do you think that more so helps them, or do you think kind of getting tossed right into the fire and getting those reps is a bigger thing to have?
Well, again, the situation dictates that with some teams, because of the quarterback roster situation, they got no choice but to put the young guy in right away. Up at Green Bay, that was not the case. They had a veteran quarterback on hand, so the other guy could sit back and take a look. The same thing with Pat Mahomes. He spent a year looking, but some teams don't enjoy that luxury of having that first quarterback, so they got to throw him in the fire. And I don't think that's wrong. That's the way you learn. Down the road, the stats may not look impressive what happened the first year, but that's for the audience. Those stats. Did you develop? Did you get better? And are you improving? That's what counts.
Peyton, were you there with Peyton when he threw the rookie record for interceptions?
I was there, and I called him. He threw the touchdowns. I called the interceptions.
That's why you're the players coach, baby. Book is available right now. Ty has a question for you.
Yeah, Coach, Pat mentioned how you won a national championship at Iowa, and then you were a GA there as well. I'm also a graduate of the University of Iowa. Just curious.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Hey,
love
go
it.
Hawks.
Love it.
Go Hawks.
Do you follow Iowa football at all anymore? And do you have any opinions on the fact that your offense, the year you guys won the national championship, is more explosive and more innovative than the offense that they're running now? And kind of going off that, how difficult has it been to kind of evolve your coaching and the offense in general over the course of your career?
Well, of course, everything. It's an evolutionary thing. Back when I was at the University of Iowa, we were in the wing T offense, and that was in vogue at that particular time. And that was because you had the tight ends, you had a fullback, which has kind of evaporated from the game of football now. But going back to Iowa, I talk about you got to do what your personnel dictates that you do. And in my book, of course, I'm a very close friend with Kirk Ferentz. I think he did the job of the century last year, coaching at the University of Iowa. He took a defense and a punter and went 10-2 in a regular season.
Hell yeah.
That's coaching. And he's done that consistently. And you look at his record now, he wants to get a quarterback, and I think they got a good one there this year, and they're taking advantage of him. But don't try to be something that you're not. Evaluate who you got and do what they do.
Coach, you at this point of your career, are we in every meeting? Do we an open door office? Like, are coaches coming in asking for advice with like those types of things? Like, what are we doing what is day to day? We're in every meeting. We're watching every film. We're at every practice. Are we still getting on people's ass at practice, or what? How in are we in right now?
Well, I tried to help where I can. I'm not on people's ass like I used to be because I don't enjoy that luxury. I don't coach a position, but any suggestions I can make, anywhere I can help, I certainly want to do, because you got to understand, to me, coaching in the National Football League is a privilege. And because of the National Football League and all the players I've had an opportunity to coach, I've lived a dream. I've lived the greatest life a person could live, and I try to convey that in my book. It's the story of my life, but it gives all the credit to all the guys that I've had an opportunity to work with, to coach, to help. And I read Bill Cowher's book a couple of years ago.
Oh, yeah.
And after I read it, I came away from it. I said, I wished I'd had the opportunity to read that book 25 years ago, because he had a lot of good coaching points in there. So through the book, I try to give a lot of lessons learned. So that if young coaches read it and take a look at it, they can pick and choose what they want from it. But every little thing helps. And in this profession, you're always learning.
Coach, they called you the greatest assistant coach of all time, and I think that is an accurate sentiment. I was incredibly lucky to be on a team that you were a coach of. The NFL has been lucky that you've dedicated your life to it. I can't wait for people to read The Player's Coach, the book, and learn about what the league is actually like, what coaching is like, and what it's like to empower people and make them their absolute best. You're the man. Ladies and gentlemen, a man who's been coaching in the NFL for 50 years, started 63 years ago at University of Iowa as a GM.
Hell yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Coach Tom Moore. We appreciate you, Coach.
Hey,
Why?
let's go.
This show stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for.
McAfee on the line with a gorgeous assist.
The all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers, you pig! Damn it! Your friend tell a friend something nice could change their life. Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to our humble abode, the Thunderdome, on this glorious NFL Week 3 kickoff Thursday, September 19, 2004. You get it. Football is happening this evening, and to be honest, I was so damn distracted by how good one member of the Talks the Table looks. This is AJ Hawk, the Talks the Table at Boston Connor, dressed as if he's going to be on the sideline this evening for the Patriots and the Jets over there at MetLife. And then Ty Schmidt, dressed like an icon, reminding the world that no one,
and I mean no one,
not
now, not 20 years ago,
and certainly
not ever, no one out pizzas the Hut.
Thank you, Pizza Hut.
Love you, Pizza Hut.
Love you, Hut.
Last week we made the debut of the Pizza Hut partnership with the program, and obviously we're excited. There's a little side note to that entire thing. There was a gas leak inside of Ty Schmidt's house. We found out during the first hour of the program, and there was a Pizza Hut partnership that was to be announced later in the program. Ty actually delayed getting back to his house. No, family was not there.
Mm-hmm.
Daughter's not there. Wife's not there. Nobody's in the house. Ty said, well, the actual fire department says, hey, you got a pretty big gas leak over here at the house. You're going to need to get here. I have to let the world know how much I love the Hut first.
Had to.
Did that last week. Let the world know once again that no one,
and we mean no one,
out pizzas the Hut. And then you get back to your house. There's a little bit of a gas smell.
Mm-hmm.
Fire department took care of it. Gas people took care of it. Had the entire smell out of it. And what did you do that evening with the family?
Order Pizza Hut.
Of course.
To
celebrate the entire thing. Pizza Hut literally, potentially, saved the entire morale of the Schmidt family.
That's right.
And that's what it can do for your family as well. And it has been for decades.
Without a doubt. And it will do that for decades to come. So, I mean, if you've, I don't know, maybe forgotten how delectable Pizza Hut is, tonight's a good night to kind of remind yourself. Remind yourself who runs this shit. Okay?
Who does?
Pizza Hut does. All right? I mean, it's just like, again, people can think that this is like some fugazi and I'm just kind of, bumping my gums here. I'm not. All right? I would wear this thing if we didn't have a Pizza Hut deal. I would buy this thing for whatever the retail price is. I don't know, probably like $799.99. This is probably like an $800 to $1,000 jacket.
I was thinking
this
$7,000.
is premium leather. First and foremost, I mean,
genuine.
People are asking if you got NASCAR, if you're doing NASCAR.
Exactly. But that's just the kind of stuff that I would expect from Pizza Hut. They don't take any shortcuts. All right, they don't dick around with that kind of stuff.
No, they do not.
Because no one out pizzas the Hut.
No one ever will.
And no one ever will.
And nobody out wings the Hut either. I think that is a conversation that we brought to their attention whenever we got a chance to speak with the powers that be of Pizza Hut post last week's rollout of the Pizza Hut partnership. And we let them know, like, you guys aren't putting enough emphasis on these wings. Wing House wings, a lot of meat. Always cooked with a little bit of a crisp, too. You never get like a soggy thing. It comes in a plastic container that doesn't get all soggy.
Not at all.
Like best. It is legit to real. Pizza Hut, once again, though, obviously going to hit a home run whenever they try to dabble in wings.
Every single time. And they've been the go-to breadsticks for a long time. Everyone knows that, so I don't know if you're looking for something for lunch or for dinner, maybe just a little snack, but you're not super hungry. Boom, My Hut box
is available for a limited time only. Prices, participation, and availability may vary. We don't know what that means.
We don't.
We will say this is the first time we've had to read that part of a thing for anybody. So prices, participation, and availability may vary. Okay, so we don't know what the price is. We don't know if it's available. We don't know who's all going to be participating, but you should if you can.
Absolutely.
And that's My Hut
Bingo.
box.
That's right.
Personal pan pizza.
What?
Side or two.
What?
Man, those boneless wings too are also delightful.
I mean, let's not kid ourselves. Everything on the menu is delightful, but yeah, I mean, really anything that you're going to pair with that
I am a
personal
thin
pan
crust
pizza.
pepperoni guy, personally.
That pizza is very good.
Really good.
We had it last week. It's so good.
Thin crust, pepperoni, has a good crisp to it, has a good crunch to it.
I like that they load it with pepperoni.
They do.
Pepperoni's everywhere.
You want to make that thing last a little bit too? If you go on the Pizza Hut app, in the little additional comments, cut it into squares.
Really?
Please cut it into squares. I do it every single time because it's also easier for a 2-year-old to eat. But still, I mean that thing will just and then you don't feel like as much of a fatso either if you're eating 10 to 12 of those. It's basically like you're eating 3 regular slices.
Yeah, because I had 4 slices of the thin crust pepperoni last week, and I did feel like a fatso.
Exactly.
But I thought to myself, I'm not going to eat these if they're available. And then the cheese slid onto the ground.
It did.
Yeah. Out of the box, slid onto the ground. Human error on our end.
Right.
Knocked it sideways as it was opened already. Thing slides off. The group here, we will have pick the pizza up off the ground and then proceed to eat that as well.
Without a doubt.
Why wouldn't you?
A little Thunderdome sauce on the thin crust cheese, I think it was what it was. People really demolished it.
We were all eating like we're going electric chair. That was so good.
You never know.
Well said. Well said.
We murdered that.
Absolutely.
The table setup that you do with a tablecloth and everything, that was put away in like 5 minutes.
Yeah, it was.
And we scraped that one off the court.
Demolished.
And ate that son of a bitch.
And they brought the wings too.
Yeah.
Big shout out to Pizza Hut, man. Shout out to Pizza Hut. They seemingly are appreciative to be a part of the program as well.
Without a doubt.
We are very grateful.
Maybe the most grateful for anything I've ever been in my life.
And that's why no one,
and I mean no one,
I can't stress this enough.
I cannot stress that. That's in all caps.
Fucking no one outpizzas the Hut. Amen.
Well said.
Amen.
Well
Pizza
said.
Hut.
Love you, Hut.
Amen.
It's true.
One half of the hammer, Dahn. Cowboys AP Tone is here looking phenomenal. Tone, before we get into our official picks, is there anything you want to tell us about the public gambling and maybe preface that with how the public has been doing gambling against the sports books this season?
The public has absolutely gotten shit on so far this year, Pat. The last season, the public was actually good, but they are off to a horrible start for weeks 1 through 2 this season. Right now, let me preface it with this. Teams that are dogs that are 6 points or more, dogs. Okay, so the Patriots tonight, they are +6, +6.5 at one book, I believe. In those situations, those dogs are 8-0 against the spread this season. It started in week 1 with the Patriots. I think they were the only dog of 6 or more points. There was a lot more last week, but they all covered, so they are 8-0 ATS against the spread this season. With that being said, Pats are in that situation again tonight against the Jets. But there is 53% of the bets on the Patriots tonight, but 61% of the money is on the Jets.
Oh, so that means big money bettors obviously enjoy the Jets, and public, you see, is on the Patriots. 53% is basically a coin toss.
Yes,
exactly. That isn't that much. People are kind of split on this. We'll obviously hear from Chuck, who is 2-0 here in a matter of moments. Boston Connor, any final thoughts as we start to dive into this on why we should maybe ride with the Pats +6?
Probably just because of the fact that, the 11 days, 3 games for the Jets. They are also a little bit banged up. I know we've harped on the Patriots not having their left tackle, left guard, and Juwan Bentley, their starting middle linebacker. The Jets lost Jermaine Johnson, their starting end, to an Achilles. I believe C.J. Mosley still up in the air with a toe injury, and the fact that they are giving up, I think, the 10th most rushing yards in the league so far through 2 weeks. I think that bodes well for New England, especially coming off not just from Ramondre Stevenson having a good day, but Antonio Gibson, our second running back. He also had 90 yards on the ground. So as much as, Mondre has gotten the brunt of the work and has gotten the most love being our running back in RB1, I think there is some layers to the New England Patriots, and I think that the starting left tackle, who I believe will be Layden Robinson tonight, also very solid player. And at the end of the day, it's going to be a defensive war, divisional battle. You guys know how these go.
6 points a lot.
6 points is a ton, and our defense shows up always.
Okay, so those are your takes. There was Tone's takes. NFL Pro at NFL Plus's Premium, they have actually insights for every single game with a bunch of notes that they deem to be pretty important. This is a weapon. Okay, this is an absolute weapon. It has stats on it. Jets defense insights here from NFL Pro. Something you should think about, they say. The Jets lost Jermaine Johnson, to your point, to an Achilles injury in week 2, and are getting thin at edge rusher with Hassan Reddick still not playing. There's a reason they brought him on the team.
That's right.
Yeah. There's even though he's never been in the building, there's a reason they brought him on the team. And then there's this small little text underneath the main insight that is normally like a punctuation mark from NFL Pro. Normally they're saying yada, yada, yada. Oh, and by the way, yada, yada, yada. So Hassan Reddick not playing. They're thin at edge. And also Quinnen Williams has been far less productive this season. 7.5% pressure rate compared to last year's when he led all defensive tackles in pressure rate of 16.3%. So about half the time he's generating pressure. Then on the edge, they're not able to get home. NFL Pro saying something to think about. Something to think about. Let's talk about the Jets on offense. The Jets revamped their offensive line in the offseason by adding Tyron Smith, John Simpson, and Morgan Moses to better protect Aaron Rodgers. Little stat. This new look offensive line has allowed just a 25% pressure rate through 2 weeks, the 5th lowest in the league.
Wow. Ball's coming out.
Ball's coming out quick.
Yep.
You're saying so this stat potentially isn't.
No, it's a good number, but you got to really dive into it.
No, this is
just hold on.
That
Coach.
is what we're doing. That is, what do you mean? That we did dive into it. They had the little tiny text on it.
Quarterback plays a big, you get a quarterback that holds onto the ball, you're going to get your ass sacked.
How about a quarterback that sets it 8-9 yards? Who was
going to get your
Bo Nix?
Sacked.
Bo Nix had to on NFL Pro. They're like, furthest sack point has happened to Bo Nix on a couple different occasions. And then here's one for the Patriots defense. Okay, here's on the other side here. The Patriots have struggled to generate pressure through the first 2 weeks, posting the 3rd lowest pressure rate in the league at just 24.1%.
They got one guy, Keon White. He's got 4 sacks. He leads the league right now with 4 sacks.
However, 2023 second-round pick Keon White has started his sophomore season strong, recording 8 pressures and 4 sacks in 2 games after producing just 1 sack. So here we go. Now we're talking about a potential protection of Aaron. Is Aaron going to be able to spin it a little bit? Does that affect anything?
Diving deeper into the time to throw, which you can do on NFL Pro Plus, Maximum Pro Plus.
That is not the name. That is not the name.
It's a lot to say.
We agree.
Aaron Rodgers is the 3rd quickest. Jaden Daniels, Tua, and then Rodgers at 2.46 seconds time to throw.
Okay, so there's good stats. Let's get to some maybe some film here about Aaron Rodgers spinning the ball a little bit. Let's look at the tail of the tape first, though. Let's look at the tail of the tape here as we listen to why Chuck is picking who he is picking this evening. Once again, he is 2-0 on Thursday Night Football. Last year, he's 11-4-1 on Thursday Night Football.
Pretty good.
The Italian seems to understand his shit whenever it comes to Thursday Night Football. Super professional photo here. Last week, remember, he had that dumbass apple.
Yeah, that was stupid.
He had that he looked like that bad apple, Carlito, from WWE's Judgment Day. Instead here, football guy, spinning the pigskin.
That's good.
Having a good time, smiling over his 2-0 against the spread record. Let's go to the tail of the tape, though, Chuck.
Yeah, so yards per – this is 2 games, small sample size, but there's some numbers that stick out here. Points per game, 18 and 21, points allowed. A lot of these numbers on the right are bad for the Jets because of that opener.
Niners.
And they gave up some rush yards. The biggest ones that you need to look at are rush yards and rush yards allowed. So New England rushes for 177.5. Boston Connor talked about the 2 backs, right, Rondé? Stevenson and Gibson.
Nicey.
And if you look down at rush yards allowed, at a little angle.
Pretty good.
They're allowing 155 a game. The Jets defense is.
That seems
right?
like a pretty important matchup.
Yeah, in New England, like you always say, hey, run the ball, stop the run. Okay, they run the ball and they stop the run. So
to your point,
they're really
stat here from NFL Pro, Ramondre Stevenson has had over 20 rushing attempts in both the first two games. It is a focal point.
Yeah. So, and then we go back to, again, so these numbers they're okay. Let's look at the quarterback comparison real quick.
Okay.
It's close.
For career?
Okay.
I mean, what do we do?
No,
We're
I'm
just
just
pulling
saying,
numbers.
sure.
These are
Yeah,
numbers.
Thank you, Hawk.
Oh, sorry. You don't like numbers?
For sure.
You don't like numbers?
Well, not the ones that make the Pats look good, I guess, but yeah.
I like those numbers.
No,
He doesn't.
Oh, he is.
No, people need to know.
Yeah.
We owe it to the people to share this
Journalistic
information.
standards.
Right?
That is what we're doing here.
You know, so passing yards, Aaron's got him by a few. Touchdowns, got him by a few. Interceptions, the quarterback rating, completion percentage, and the win-loss record.
That's shocking.
So, I mean, people out there, you're saying, okay, how in the hell am I going to bet against this guy at home?
Mm-hmm.
Home opener.
Oh.
Jet Life Stadium.
Oh, yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Come on, tonight's tonight. Can you feel
But
it?
they haven't beat the Pats in the last 8 times there.
They beat us last year, week 18.
No, it was the last game of the season in a snowstorm. And,
that doesn't count.
The bags were packed for everybody.
Yeah, back
right?
that game doesn't count. It was a 16-game season.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it didn't count. So they've won their last 8. So they're looking to try to break that string at home. The Pats have won 8 straight down there. I'm waffling.
No way. We got some film. Let's see some film.
Let's
Let's see some film.
He's a waffler, brother.
Don't be waffling, brother.
He's a showman.
Oh,
Chuck's
my
a
God.
showman.
How about him actually potentially contemplating right now with every word that's coming out of his mouth?
Yeah.
He's
My
looking
own
at
mouth.
He's looking at the stats that he put together, and he was like, "Do these
We've
actually
done
matter?"
this before, and I've gotten home and got my ass ate out by Tina.
Yeah, well,
Good for you guys.
Hey, you guys are fucking pigs.
You said it.
You said it, Chuck. That's what the young kids get into, Chuck. That's what the young kids do.
That's how you stay married for that long.
Yeah. That's
Figuratively, not literally. Figuratively.
Real good Friday, I bet for you.
Good for you. Chuck. Good for you. No judgment here.
That was so good.
Do what you got to do,
I'm so
Chuck.
sorry, Tina. This is going to cost me.
Yeah, you can't be sharing those secrets. Good Lord.
Whoa.
Tail of that tape.
This is only the show.
Boy, I got in trouble for waffling.
Yeah. I'm
What's
sure
that for
that's
waffle?
the problem. That's the problem.
Because there's syrup involved. Hey,
All right,
so
Jeez,
anyway.
Chuck,
No, Chuck, come on.
All right, come on. We don't need to
Accompaniment.
think about any of this.
Pop rocks?
Anyways, let's move along here.
We're still going
All
to.
fours? Chuck's pretty flexible.
So one thing we know about Aaron,
Yeah.
Aaron's
He's
seen
got a
everything,
strong
right?
core.
Aaron's seen everything.
on that Bellator.
They're not going to be able to throw
Bellator,
anything,
yeah.
especially a team in the division.
Yeah, we're listening.
Hold on, Chuck. Hold on.
Chuck, we need a second.
Hold the
Let's just
reset.
get to the picks.
We got to reset. No.
You got to sit out in the universe.
Yeah. Get your ass eaten. Okay.
All right.
Sad day.
All right, and we're back. Okay.
Here we go.
So we're talking about Aaron Rodgers and the type of quarterback he is. What can he accomplish, that maybe other guys can't? Why'd you say that the way you said it?
I know.
You did that on purpose. He had to have
You
done
did,
that.
Coach. You did.
I heard Mad Mel Kiper tell Tone, early AP Tone, eat my ass.
Yeah.
Now we got this.
A lot of ass eating today,
What
huh?
is the deal?
Boy,
What is the deal?
nobody out pizzas.
Nobody toss salads out it either,
Yeah.
eventually.
Out eats
All right.
the ash.
Wow. Okay, what a moment. You know why we do this? You know why we play? You know why we sacrifice? For moments.
Yeah, for moments. And this was one. You put
This
us
is
right in the
one.
middle of. Oh. All right, listen. Hey, we need
God,
to
I'm
win
glad
back tonight.
she's babysitting.
Yeah.
She's going to have to watch it.
She never went here. We dumped it. We dumped it all.
Remember what Chuck left the office with last week? A whole bunch of them.
Dude wipes. Yeah, you're right. I didn't even think about it. Anyways, let's move along. Let's not start piecing too much together. Let's win a bet tonight, okay?
Here we go.
enough with the shenanigans.
Yeah, I agree. Enough of the bum munching. All right,
59,000 pass yards and 478 TDs. The guy can read defenses. They're not going to show him anything that he has not seen. The ball comes out quick. To Tone's point, third fastest in the league so far. So you're going to try to do something. He's going to get the ball out of his hand, and he's going to hit the guy that's open. He doesn't make mistakes. He just doesn't make mistakes. Those guys have great recall. He's seen it all, so he's going to get the ball out of his hands. I don't care if Mayo and the defense with New England are going to try to pressure the guy. He loves empty. Okay, he doesn't like a lot of he wants to ID the defense, so he likes static. So he's going to get them in empty and try to figure out, okay, where's my matchup? We all know his favorite target is who?
Garrett Wilson.
Garrett's down here at the bottom. He's on the inside shade of the numbers here. This guy down here, he's got absolutely no help inside. So where can he get beat?
Inside.
Inside. So watch what happens. This guy sees it, surveys, boom, 3rd and short, first down, move the chains.
That's cute.
Okay,
Is that Christian?
And Garrett's pretty good. He'll do a great job of getting himself open. They've created quite the chemistry in a short period of time. So who do we got up top, one-on-one?
Breece Hall.
We got Breece out there. We've always said, okay, when you're obviously it's man coverage because you got who on him right now? Linebacker. So everybody knows that, right? My 4-year-old grandson can figure that out. Oh, they got a linebacker pop.
Shut up,
on
Bear.
Breece Hall. It's man coverage, right? Pop. He would ask me right now. Bear would say, Pop, why is he so close to Breece Hall here? He knows to get off and get inside because he can only run.
How old is
He's 4 years old, but he knows all you got is a slant, a sluggo, a go route. That's all the back's going to do there, right? So give yourself some room, play off, let him throw it short, run up and tackle him, right, Pop? Nope, we're going to get up there and press. The guys are
4-year-old saying that?
So this is
look out.
A 4-year-old saying that?
Yeah,
got one in the pipeline.
Wow,
Yeah.
hey, because they're saying with what's happening with Coach Fangio, they're saying potentially. I'm not saying it, but people are saying like the Italian defensive mind gurus. You're out of the game.
Going to goo.
Fangio's potentially out of the game.
Nobody's saying that.
That's what I'm saying. So Bear, though, is 4 years old. Bear's 4 years old. Going to come through.
He knows to play off. So all Aaron has to do there is go, okay, eeny, meeny, miny, okay. I like this. Boom.
How about this one here?
How about it? 2nd and 16. So who hasn't done much for them yet? Who hasn't built the chemistry?
Williams.
Mike Williams, right? Lazard, he can count on. Garrett Wilson,
First game
obviously.
back,
He can hand the ball off to those 2 running backs.
What? Last week.
I think this is his only target and his only catch so far this season through 2 weeks. But what a big play here. Watch this dime he drops in the bucket here. And late hands by Mike Williams. He's been on a pitch count, so they're gonna up him. Because what's going to happen tonight, coming from Belichick tree with Mayo, they're going to take away who in the pass game, or at least try to.
Garrett Wilson.
5's going to get all the attention. So that's going to open up for Lazard, and that's going to open up for this guy. So as a prop bet,
Williams to score,
or if he's got 3, 4, whatever this prop is on receptions and a touchdown, he's going to get.
But against this Patriots defense, it's been stingy this year. Are they going to be able to do it? I guess we have some.
Well, they're
here.
stingy against the run. They give up 58 yards, but they give up over like 222 passing a game because they can't run it, so you got to throw it. And so Aaron obviously still got an arm. Yeah. Here's the deal. Like the things that concern me about New England tonight, obviously the offensive injuries. The whole left side of the line is injured. So they got a new left guard and a new left tackle. Is it Sal? Sal's out and Lowe. So those 2 guys are out. They got a rookie starting at right guard. That's an issue. Okay, number 71, the right tackle. He gave up critical sack.
Probably very bad.
Last game before overtime. Critical. Onwenu?
Yeah, Mike Onwenu.
How do you say it?
Onwenu.
Onwenu. Yeah, so
It sounds
so
different.
I've got some concerns there. They're missing their stud linebacker. Bentley's out on defense. They got good secondary. We talked about Keon White, but and then the back end, they had some coverage busts last week. And here's one here. So we talked through this thing. If you go back to the beginning here, Pat, and you look at this thing and we set it down right here, they got everybody up, right? And then they're picket fence again, right? So we're thinking cover what?
Zero.
Zero, right? So we're thinking of zero pressure. and they can fall out, whatever. So now they motion this guy in. They got 3 for 3 up top. They bring him in. They're supposed to bump. There's a little bit confusion up top, all right? Am I going to run all the way across with this guy? Does somebody on this side of the ball that's highlighted? All right, Bruce, great job on highlighting these things. Is somebody on this side going to take him? Are we going to add? Because when you play 0, you're counting on the ball doing what?
Coming out.
Coming out right now. We used to say, okay, if they got 6, we're sending 7. The ball's going to come out in 1.67 seconds. And we sold the DBs on that. So you see all the DBs flat foot 0 technique and seeing the ball, seeing the quarterback.
That's why jumping rots.
Right, because the ball's supposed to come out. But this guy comes over, all right, they got 6 on 5. Now they have what?
6 on 6.
6 on 6. They don't get the extra guy added. They leave a guy out in coverage. I don't know if that's the scheme. I don't know enough about the scheme, if that's the way it's supposed to be. But I know that these guys are left on an island, and they let a guy go scot-free, DK Metcalf, for a free touchdown.
Got caught watching the paint dry.
Yep.
Don't like that.
So I'm a little bit worried from a communication standpoint that, because like Aaron sees that, he ain't missing that.
Hey, as soon as
like the Mad Mel's, take this morning.
What's that?
About my Bears defense and stuff, and when
yeah.
you have to go against this guy, like he's done it to a lot of guys. Right? It's the reason I retired, and then he left.
Yeah,
Should've stuck around for a minute.
He kind of got pushed out of there, but I understand what you're saying.
So here's the same thing, all right? If you notice, we show single high. They're going to rotate over the top and roll strong. There's nobody deep back here. They don't see this. We get pressure inside, and they miss this. But we've got a wide open touchdown here. If they have time.
And that's one. That's DK. That's the number 1 weapon too, right?
That's the number 1 weapon, and we talked glowingly about number 0, Gonzalez, who's on him, and we're going to see Gonzalez in a great matchup tonight with him and Garrett. So excited about that, but there's some concerns there from a communication standpoint. Now the whole defense is still together. The defensive coordinator that's calling the shots this year, calling the defense, he was the D-line coach. He's been there since 2017. I think so. There's just these things, from a communication standpoint. So
what do you do?
But if there's any breakdowns tonight, the one guy that we know and trust that can exploit it and will not miss him is number 8.
The ayahuasca.
As much as you said, God, I hope he doesn't. He sees it. He knows.
So what do you like tonight?
What's the line?
6.
I thought it was 6.5.
Well, there's some books that had it this morning. I don't think now. ESPN Bet has it at 6. There was other books that had it at 6.5.
There's one that has it at 6.5. The rest is 6.
Okay, so it's mostly 6. ESPN Bet's at 6. 6.5 feels good though if you're looking to go one particular way.
Sure. Time of possession we talked about. Them running the football. They hold it for 33 minutes a game. New England does, because they can pound the rock, 177 a game. So they're going to limit those possessions for Aaron Rodgers and this Jets offense. My whole take coming in, I'm not gonna waffle.
What you did? You did a whole thing.
I'm not gonna waver. Jets are going to win this game, but they're not going to cover. Give me the Patriots and the points.
Wow, I did not think it was going that way.
I didn't either.
I think that was a waffle. Inside though, that wasn't an.
Yeah.
I think that was a waffle. I think there was a chance that was a waffle. This is 2 weeks in a row where he's shown highlights of the other side, and then picked against the highlights that he just. I like that. Keep us guessing in this entire thing. AJ, did you learn anything there from Chuck Pagano, or are you taking Jets -6 at home at Jet Life? And remember.
Can I say one other thing?
I am a real American.
Do we know? Is that happening? Is that happening?
That was 9/11 a year ago.
Yeah, but it has to happen again. I mean, what are you talking about? Home opener?
Can I say one other thing?
You off
for AJ? Because AJ needs to hear this.
Please do.
We talked about that offensive line. Left guard, left tackle are out. They've had, success running the ball through 2 weeks. But with those guys out and a rookie right guard and some, lack of reps together, lack of chemistry, does Stevenson, does Gibson still get that? Now, I know the Jets have been vulnerable, but you got to think what you call, and they're not even letting the receivers right now. They set since 2015. Those receivers for the Pats, you know how many yards they've got through 2 weeks? This is a historical all-time. They've got a total of 85 receiving yards total for all the wide receivers on the New England Patriots
This
team.
year?
This year through 2 weeks.
No, but remember
That's
last year there wasn't a wide receiver scored a touchdown or whatever for.
No, that's the whole conversation with Jacoby about pushing the ball down the field. Is that we got guys open, he's just not throwing.
And I think if he forces it and tries to push it down the field, you got Sauce, you got Reed, you got Michael Carter Jr. back there.
So are you waffling again?
We're talking football right now.
Yes, we are. Yes, we
Well
are.
said. Well said.
Yes, we are talking
You gonna
football
bring up
right now.
Sauce's week last week or no?
Pardon me?
You gonna bring up Sauce getting bombed on last week or no?
You play that much, man, that's going to happen, cuz.
Hey, you live in the paint, you're going to get dunked on,
You're
cuz.
damn right.
Just saying.
He's got amnesia.
You have amnesia too. I think you think that you're picking the Jets. You know that everything you have said today has supported the Jets -6 before the show, during the show.
I saw a late sack given up, which I never saw that organization do.
Okay.
And then get a field goal block. They let a free runner go, Pat, through the wing and the left end.
Don't like that. Here's the
Okay.
sack, though. I think we have the sack here. Fourth quarter, 4:44, 3rd and 6.
You can't take a sack down here. You got the game won. You're up 3. This is going to put you up 6. And with your defense, there's no way in hell Seattle's going to be able to go down on you.
Jeez.
Again.
Whoa.
Whoa. All right.
And
He's on
score.
fire.
March down the field.
All right.
Heating up.
Do you know you're taking the Patriots?
You know what I'm saying? So that happened. They gave up 3 points in the set. The most important parts of the game are the first 5 and the last 5. Remember us used to talk about that in team meetings?
First 5, last 5.
First 5 minutes of the first quarter, last 5 minutes of the second quarter, first 5 minutes of the third quarter, and certainly the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter. First 5, last 5 mindset. I'm going with the Jets. I'm giving the points and I'm taking the Jets.
Waffle.
He waffled. He's back.
We know what's going to happen when he waffles.
All right.
As soon as he gets home, Tina's, that's
Yeah.
why he's doing it.
He's on all fours. Yeah, no, good for you,
All
Chuck.
right, we just learned something. He's on the Jets.
Yep.
I think you forgot that you were on the Jets there. Or did you waffle to the Patriots because you thought it was too many
Because
points?
God is my witness. Okay?
Shout out.
Shout out, God.
That was
You waffle.
That was I waffle.
Yeah, I knew it. And we called it out as it was happening.
Good, you should.
No, but the
you
more
should be able
the
to
more
change your
that-
mind, Chuck.
Yeah,
you guys
certainly
do.
Whoa. Stop pointing
Never
fingers.
waffle,
I'm a little
Coach. Never
accountability,
waffle.
Coach. I'm a little
No, he's talking us
accountability.
through it. I like seeing Chuck's talking to us through the process, and then he's thinking, okay, no, you know what? After this, I'm on the Jets. So, yeah, I appreciate it.
We like it a lot, too. But we don't let you know that.
I know if this doesn't work out.
Oh, buddy.
Oh, it's working, Chuck. It's
Yum,
working.
yum, yum, yum.
AJ.
Good night either way.
AJ.
Oh, man.
What a day. What a day here.
What a
It's
day.
a great day to be alive. AJ, do you like the Jets or the Patriots this evening? And
Jeez.
has anything that you've taken from Chuck Pagano swayed you any particular way?
So early on, I'm thinking, 6 is a lot of points, but I like the Jets. Early on, I was thinking that. I wasn't exactly waffling. Through Chuck's presentation, it just reinforced my thought about the Jets. But I wanted to ask Chuck a quick question. Obviously, we know the Patriots defense very good at stopping the run. The Jets defense hasn't been as good. Don't you think they're going to try to just load up the box? Hey, we stop the run first and prove that Jacoby can beat us through the air?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Can they do it, though? Can they stop him?
We're going to find out.
Yes, we are.
Quentin Williams do too. You got a backup guard in there. Quentin Williams, he hears the noise that NFL Premium Pro Exclusive Plus or whatever says that he hasn't been as active lately.
It's a brand.
I know,
It's a
whatever
brand
it is.
name.
NFL Premium.
Blue Magic's the
No.
brand name.
NFL Plus.
NFL Plus Premiums, which is NFL Plus, the premium version. In that umbrella is NFL Pro. Now, eventually, we'll get to the point where it's just NFL Pro. I think this is going to break off into its own thing.
Needs to.
And people will just download NFL Pro. But at the current time, NFL Pro, which is a fucking weapon, this is very good. This is very, 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 it's a great product if you follow the NFL. If you have to talk about the NFL, it is an amazing product because the ability to do research, how quickly you can, if you gamble, if you fantasy, yada, 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 you name it. But it is currently living within NFL Plus's NFL Premium accounts, and then NFL Pro is in there. So that's why we say NFL Plus Premiums. NFL Pro. But we agree, it is a lot. But that is currently where it lives.
Yeah, correct.
It'll become its own thing. It'll become an app probably.
Yep.
If I had to guess. It is NFL Pro is the real deal. NFL Pro is the real deal.
I think. Yeah. Well, I think addition by subtraction, AJ, to your point about can they stop the run, load up the box. They've got the people in the back end. Mosley is questionable. My thought is that guy's a warrior. He's going to play. They stuck in number 44. I don't know his name that came in for him last week. That guy can run around and make some plays. Quincy Williams, we know, is a run around and tackling machine. Quinnen's brother. But I think what happens with Jermaine out, Will McDonald is still a pass rush guy. He's not a big, thick edge setter. So I think they got Ken Law inside, Quinnen Williams inside. Clemens will play one edge. And then I think they bring in another big body and play on first and second down and play two bigger ends.
Here's Will McDonald.
And drop a guy down in the box.
Fourth quarter.
To shore up that run defense.
Last week, 3rd and 8. Give me that. Oh, a little bit of a horse collar, but
if the Jets can get 4-man pressure, it's on tonight. They're going to feel good.
Well, they're not a big blitz team. Yeah. They're not. They rely on those 4 dudes to get home. So we'll see what happens. I'm just worried about because with that offensive line, if we can win on first and second down and get them
the
behind.
Jets now because this is who you are we now.
Yes, and we get them behind the chains, AJ. And they got 3rd and 7+. Then those 4 dudes, and we'll cover these wideouts.
AJ, you on the Jets?
Yeah. With all that being said, Chuck, give me the Jets -6.
Jets win. Patriots cover.
Okay.
Happy days tomorrow. Aaron Rodgers Tuesday.
It's Friday.
Fuck.
Yep.
Long weekend for them. Think about it. A lot of motivation to win this one. You want that nice little mini bye weekend.
Tomorrow.
Go take a trip.
Yeah.
You know that carrot. You know that carrot's been laid out there, right? Solid. Aaron, hey, it's going to be a great weekend. We get this one done.
Oh, yeah, mini bye.
Everybody's listening to Coach Sala at this point for sure.
Yeah, and the Jets never let anyone down.
I assume there's a conversation with Aaron coming tomorrow if they would. I assume. That's happened in the past, I believe, for Thursday Night Football.
It has.
Yes.
Not guaranteed, but I assume. We'll hear from the winner of Thursday Night Football tomorrow if the Jets win. Probably. Potentially.
Maybe.
Mini bye week. We don't know what's planned.
Yeah.
He could be in Egypt by tomorrow, by 3 a.m.
We haven't even asked him about that yet. That needs to obviously make its way in.
We'll figure that out.
I'll be excited to see our journalistic standards when it comes to that Egypt conversation. What do we get to the bottom of? Because we know the date in which it took place, too.
Oh, yeah.
I think that potentially, is that a part of the conversation?
Could be.
6/12/24, Egypt. What the hell's going on over there?
Real close to the solstice.
Yeah, moon was real close last night.
Very
bright.
This morning, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still there.
Took a photo, yeah.
Only one of
Yeah,
them.
what's going on?
There's 2 moons coming September 29th, bub.
Con, I took a picture of the moon last night, too, which I don't really do very often. What was the deal?
Supermoon was 2 nights ago, I think. I think this is kind of like the hangover.
I did in the morning.
It was nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. Good color. Was that like a yellow, orangish color here in Indiana? I don't know about where you were.
Did you guys howl at it?
It was cool.
Always.
Do we howl?
Did you howl at the moon?
Like
I did.
wolf?
Oh.
I did. Have to.
How's it sound? What's that sound like, Tom?
Oh.
Okay, I get it. I get what you do.
Howl. So you do it once or you do it multiple times to indicate that there's
Once
a pack?
you do the one, and then you do the
Oh, like a little sauce on the end.
Yeah.
A little whoop-de-woo.
Yeah.
Did family do it with you or just you?
It was just me.
Any neighbors?
No, the neighbors didn't. No.
Dogs?
No, I was actually disappointed.
Lone wolf?
Yep.
Wow.
What time?
Like 12:30.
You're howling at 12:30 at that house?
Someone's got you.
You got a kid?
Lights come on.
You go out in the front yard?
That'd be
or
the
what?
last thing I would ever do.
On all fours?
I'd be scared to death.
She's
Ooh,
sleeping a lot.
That was a good howl out of
Thank you.
She's used to dad howling. It helps her.
Oh! Full moon's every once a month, right? Isn't it on a lunar schedule? She knows dad howling. And everybody relax with the howling. Everybody needs, with it, what he was saying and what everybody was saying. Matt Mel kind of started this entire thing. This evening, this is what we're going to do. We're going to watch this game. We're going to kick off week 3 of the NFL season. We're going to enjoy the shit out of it.
Right.
Chuck Pagano's going to go 2-1 because the Patriots are going to cover 6. That's going to be fun to hear about. He's going to get a nice little treat, I think.
Sounds like it.
Some way he's been talking.
Yeah, a little syrup.
We're going to have
Yes,
Pizza
he-
Hut.
Yep.
We're going to have Pizza Hut tonight
Always.
Can't wait.
to celebrate the next weekend of NFL football and football happening.
Yep.
What are you going with, you think, this evening?
I want to say in my Hut box, but I don't know if that's going to be enough.
Well, my Hut boxes are currently available for a limited time only. Prices, participation, and availability may vary.
Okay, so I might go with that. I may, get a large pie, thin crust, pepperoni, cut into squares.
Whoa.
Maybe add some breadsticks on the side.
Whoa. Any wingies?
Yeah, I think we're going to get a couple wingies as well. And then I don't know if I'm feeling dangerous. I might throw a 2-liter in there.
Really? A do?
Yeah.
Pizza cookie?
Mate.
Oh, boy.
A Pizookie?
Yeah.
We'll see. I don't know if I need the chocolate that late.
Oh,
sure.
What's that going to do to
Great
you?
discipline. Great discipline.
Thank you.
After you drink a 2-liter Mountain Dew? It's a great meal.
Thank you, Todd.
Yep, you bet.
I don't know if I need the sweets.
I don't know if I need the sweets that late.
All right, something that would be sweet would be if Chuck wins for 25 people. AQ Shipley yesterday took the top off. Bucket. And wearing those super Crocs.
That was sick.
Left kid on a limousine. That's what he did with those shoes.
Oh, yeah.
And it was a great day for him. He threw the ball into that hoop, and 25 people will win $500. If Chuck Pagano is able to do the same thing, we'll give 30 people $500.
Wow.
Okay. What?
Chuck, all you got to do on this glorious Week 3 NFL kickoff Thursday is put that football in which hoop? This hoop over here. Okay.
I like that.
You said, I'm taking a path less traveled. AQ went that way. I'm going this way. I came to a fork. I picked it up. Good luck, pal. 30 people, $500 if Chuck Pagano is able to put that football.
Oh, I like the angle.
Good throw. Good throw. Good throw.
Did you practice? Did you practice beforehand?
What's the angle?
Oh, yeah.
Did it go in?
Yeah, banked it in.
First try.
Second.
Did we waste it?
He said once.
He said once, second try.
He's old.
Earlier he said 8 straight, but not the 18th week. We're working with, a little sauce here.
Yep.
AJ, anything said Chuck Pagano here as he attempts the impossible?
Fucking look at me.
Chuck doesn't need anything. We know whether he makes or not. Chuck's the winner tonight. No question.
Yep.
Chuck, if you do recall, no one,
And I mean no one.
and I can't stress this enough,
Yeah,
I mean, no one.
no one. Al Pizza's the Hut.
that's right.
30 people, $500. I assume some of that money will be spent on Pizza Hut.
That's a lot.
Hut!
He got real jacked up there.
So
I knew that one had no chance.
That was a good hut.
It was.
That was a good hut.
It was.
No one out Pizza's the Hut, but that was a good hut.
It was.
That was a good hut right there. Hey, for our friends at Pizza Hut and for the 30 winners of $500, Chuck, we say thank you for putting that ball into that hoop right over there. Thank you, Chuck. Oh, Jesus.
Fucking A, huh?
No one.
And I mean no one has thrown a football that shitty in this place.
Chuck Pagano, the most Italian at Italian Fest,
Hell yeah.
is attempting to win 30 people $500. All you got to do is put that football. Oh, my, that was
Got robbed.
Mia!
Uh-oh.
All we're trying to say is grazie.
Here we go again.
Chuck Pagano, Italian legend and icon.
Always.
36 years he spent coaching football, but on this particular day, all he's got to do is put a football in a basketball hoop. 30 people will win $500. 30 people will be celebrating!
Oh, it's a good angle.
Guys on it.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Uh-oh.
We're running out of options. Ladies and gentlemen.
Ball might be too
Yeah, we'll count
big.
them all, of course. I don't know if you're going to be.
Nah, Chuck's got it.
Chuck Pagano here is an icon of a man.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a lot of fans. He's got a lot of friends. Can gain 30 more right now. All he's got to do is put that football into that hoop right over there. And 30 people!
Fucking bum.
Back in. Jump for joy. Say party over here, party over there. Shake your daddy, yeah. Woo. Hit me, woo. Hit me, woo.
Jock jams.
Whoa.
Chuck Pagano, 30 people, $500. You put that football into that hoop right over there, pal. Upside down and inside out. That baby, Chuck.
That's what it's all about.
30 people, $500. All you can do is repost this video on X, say something nice to somebody, and put the easiest way to pay you. And you could potentially be one of the 30 people that win $1,000 from our friend Chuck Pagano. From all of us to all of you, thank you so much for allowing us to do this for a living. We'll be back tomorrow, overreacting to everything that happens this evening on Thursday Night Football on Prime between the Patriots and Jets. We'll be looking ahead to a great football schedule, and I'll be in Oklahoma, where it'll be 99 degrees. All right, be a friend, tell a friend something nice. It might change their life. We're in this thing together. Let's never forget that. And no one.
And we mean no one.
Out Pizzas the Hut. Team on me. Team on three. 1, 2, 3, team. Goodbye.